There we go. Are we live? Can you hear me? All right. So we're
I hear
live,
you.
man. I definitely want to thank everybody for coming out to the summer movie preview. Have you seen that with T? It is me, your host, the overly emotional movie reviewer. I'm
Yeah.
not going to tell you guys the last time I cried in a movie theater, but you already know that about me. But yeah, so today we got Kenny Sparks, the Ace Avenue, two of my favorite movie tubers, two of my favorite movie reviewers. You guys, this like I'm the low energy guy, and these two guys are gonna bring the energy up on this live stream. We're gonna talk about summer movies. And the Ace, man, go ahead and introduce yourself just so the viewers know who you are.
Okay. First things first. Appreciate you, T, for having me on. Um, Me and T have been, knowing each other for at least a couple of weeks to a couple of months already. You know what I'm saying? So it feels
Mhm.
good to come on here. I am yours truly, the Ace. Do a lot of movie content, a lot of sports content as well. Love my movies and sports. Those are my two biggest things. So if you're a fan of the Yankees, Giants, or just movies in general, you know what I'm saying? Hit that like and subscribe.
For sure. And Kenny, go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So my name is Kenny Sparks. I'm a YouTuber, movie tuber. I have my own channel called the Kenny Sparks channel, and I do movie reviews, trailer reactions. Although I haven't done one in like a month, as well as interviews with some of my favorite movie tubers and a bunch of other types of series and stuff like that. I'm super excited to be here to support and just be a part of and talk with my guy T and Ace. Man, I'm this. This is going to make my entire Saturday, so I'm excited.
For sure. And speaking of entire Saturdays, before we start, I definitely want to wish everybody a safe and prosperous Memorial Day weekend. If you
Yep.
don't know, I served in the military. I served in over 24 years. I've known quite a few soldiers who are not here anymore. And it's a weekend of reflection, even though we're looking forward in the summer movie preview, but this is definitely a weekend of reflection for myself and all of the people that I've served with. But that, anybody who has served, definitely know that, my thoughts are with you and any of your fallen comrades, the people who've come before me, the people who will come after me. Like we deserve this weekend. Of course, it's a good time to barbecue and all that stuff and spend time with your family. But remember while you're doing it, and I didn't want to bring it down, but I definitely wanted to mention, how important it is not only to start the summer with Memorial Day, but what this day actually means. And if anybody else has anything to talk about, what Memorial Day means to you, if you have anything, if you have any family members, or if you've ever actually served, either one of you, Kenny or Ace, or if you have any family members who served, definitely bring that up or mention that, if you feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so my father served. He was in the army, as well as my grandfather on my maternal side. He also served. Eugene Rodriguez. He's done everything. So he was a part of the army. He was a mailman. He was a professor at Philadelphia High School for women. Like he's done it all. So definitely have some vets in the family, and definitely appreciate your service as well as theirs, man.
Yeah. Oh, same boat. My sister served as well. I worked for the military, so I like private contract wise, so I know what the lifestyle is. I know it's a sacrifice at the end of the day, and I say it all the time. I appreciate what you guys have done to be able to give guys like us this ability to be able to do what we're doing. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. So appreciate you guys.
1,000%. Oh, you're muted, T.
You're muted, T.
Oh, there we go. All right. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't want to bring it down, but because this is a pretty somber weekend, especially for service members who have lost battle buddies, people who have lost family members. But it's also a joyous occasion for people to get out and just celebrate their lives, somber, things of that nature. And I just wanted to throw a shout out to Zach Mill. Zach Mill really brought all three of us together.
Yeah.
The panel in the space. I don't know about that, Zach, because you're not up here. but I definitely appreciate that thought. Then we have Ryan movie reviews with Ryan Lane. Two live streams in 1 days. I'm a workhorse. I'm not a workhorse. Ace is the workhorse because he's gonna call a Yankees game a little bit later tonight. And I appreciate you so much for being here to do this and then go
Not
out
a
there and
problem.
call the Yankees game. And we got Brandon McDaniels in the
Hey,
building. So shouting out Ace. Ace bringing uh, some of his 1,100 subscribers up here to the channel, and I definitely appreciate you for being here. But let's talk about the summer of 2024. This year has been kind of I wouldn't say a down year, but it hasn't been an up year as
yeah.
far as movie going is as far as talking about movie going, I'm not as down on the year as a lot of people are, but
Hmm.
we need something, right? We need a jolt, and we all know what that jolt is going to be in the middle of the summer.
Yep.
But we're
Yep.
gonna, yes, we definitely we're gonna start with June though. I'm sorry, this is not June. This is July. We're gonna start
Hmm.
with June, and June is bringing us a few sequels that I'm looking forward to, and definitely definitely not July, right? June it has some sequels, but I don't think that June is gonna push the box office, push anything in the box office above that, probably not even $500 million mark. I don't know. But we start
Mm.
off June with Bad Boys Ride or Die. I'm looking forward to that. I'm a huge fan of the Bad Boys franchise and the Watchers. Which one of these two movies are y'all gonna go see first? That's like because I think these are two really interesting movies coming out.
Sure, yeah. So I know for me, I'm definitely going to go see Bad Boys Ride or Die. The shameless plug. I'm actually doing a live stream watch along at 6 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast today for Bad Boys 2, and next week I'll be doing Bad Boys 3, leading right into Bad Boys Ride or Die. So I'm super excited for this. Bad Boys is one of my favorite franchises, so I'm definitely going to be here for the old head Marcus Burnett and Michael Lowry. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, same. I would tell you this: us all being minorities, like Bad Boys is, especially Bad Boys 2. That speaks to us. You know what I'm saying? Like that is such a good film. The third one, even though I love me some Vanessa Hudgens, but I was
Yeah.
not a fan of the third movie um, at all. But I'm hoping this one looks better. This one is better. It looks okay. I've seen a handful of trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely something I'm gonna watch, and definitely something that we definitely got to rank. But I'm excited for obviously Quiet Place. That's gonna be amazing. Can't wait to see that one. Love that whole franchise, and
Yep.
Inside Out piques my interest as well. I thought the first one was solid. A little bit nervous about how the sequel will go, but I don't know if it'll be as good as the first, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, like Bad Boys Ride or Die was really not Ride or Die. Bad Boys for Life, which is weird because For Life should have been the fourth one, just because of the four. But
That's
I
true.
like I watched it once when I saw it in the theater the first time, and I never watched it again. It wasn't terrible, but it got weird. Is what kind of happened with me. So the first two Bad Boys movies are legitimate like cases, and the third one just feels like some kind of supernatural family drama. You got some magic in here, then you have like kids coming out of nowhere. It just kind of felt like it went away from what Bad Boys was, so it got kind of weird. But yeah, I still enjoyed it for the most part. But also, Martin Lawrence, which it looks like he's in much better shape for this one coming up, was not in great shape in the third one at all. But he's older, so I don't hold it too much against him. But yeah, he was definitely being carried in that one a little bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a bunch of movies this month.
So the Watchers, have you guys seen the previews to the Watchers? Is that something that's on your radar? Because that's something that's really like I'm really anticipating this movie. Not as much as Bad Boys, of course, but I'm like I've seen two previews for this, and the second preview is even better than the first one to me. But yeah, like
I,
what?
I'm looking it up now. I hadn't even heard of it,
Yeah, it
so I'm
hasn't been
looking
on my
it up now.
radar either.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, definitely that's something that I would uh suggest you guys watch the trailer for because I think this movie is going to be pretty interesting. I don't I don't think it's gonna make as much money. I know it's not gonna make as much money as Bad Boys because that's a known entity. It's a known franchise, but I've definitely enjoyed the trailers for The Watchers, starring Dakota Fanning, and it looks interesting. And Georgina Campbell from yes, and Zach, yes, that's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter directs this movie, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I'm not a huge M. Night Shyamalan fan. We'll
Hmm.
talk about that a little bit later when we talk about his upcoming summer movie. But the fact that a father and a daughter has a movies coming out in the same summer is pretty awesome. Like as a parent,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
for sure.
definitely love to have something like that happen with me and my daughter. But any other and before I even jump into any other thoughts of the June movies, we got a few comments. Zach Mills said it was a lackluster year for sure. You know, I don't know. I think the last 2 years honestly haven't been the biggest for movies. In all honesty, we've had some really great movies, but I don't like as far as box office wise. I don't think we've had any like other than the sure tent poles. We haven't had any huge movies. Dune 2
Hmm.
comes to mind for this year, but like last year, I just didn't. I don't think I felt it last year either. Um, before the summer, like before, like that January, February, March timeframe is always really down for movies.
Yeah, I really feel like last year was leaps and bounds better than this year. Like
Agreed.
last year, we started with Creed 3, we had
Hmm.
John Wick 4, we had I know like Guardians came out this month last year, as well as like Spider Verse came out June 1st. So like there's a bunch. Oh, Extraction too. I'm a big fan of the Extraction movies, and those came out earlier in the year. So there was a lot of movies that just came out back to
Barbenheimer.
back to back. Yeah, yeah. Oppenheimer was out by this time, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, I really think like last year's movies slate was way better, and I think a lot of it has to do with the pandemic too, like pushing a bunch of stuff back.
And the
Not just
strike.
for the yeah, yep, yep, exactly.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Movie season actually last year was very trendy. If you think about it, started off with Megan. You remember how
Yeah.
Megan flew under the radar. You remember how trendy that was, especially with the the dancing and the TikTok and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Barbenheimer was a craze. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That took over the box office. Guardians of the Galaxy, the final installment to James Gunn's trilogy. So last year's movie season was a complete 180. This year, I do think they were hindered by the strike. That's why a
Mm-hmm.
lot of some of the better movies are coming out towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
But not to say this movie season has been a complete bust because I enjoyed the movies like Argyle. Argyle was good. Kingdom of the
Yeah, I
Planet of
had
the
fun with
Apes was
that.
good as well. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like
Same
that. Are they big box offices? No, those are due to come. But like I said, I think the strike definitely played a factor.
for sure.
But it,
Evil Dead Rise came out this time last year too.
Yeah. So it's been a real
yes, that
quiet movie season so far.
Mm-hmm.
that's a better way. Real quiet. Like we haven't had like huge blockbusters, but we've had some really good movies. I've seen some really good movies this year.
Yep.
Um, so I failed to go over the Memorial Day weekend slate of movies, right? So we had Furiosa come out this weekend. We had Garfield come out this weekend. Did you guys get a chance to see Furiosa and Garfield, like, or either one?
I saw Furiosa this past Monday. I have not seen Garfield yet. I'm going to go see Furiosa again tomorrow before I review it because how much people love it and how much I did not like it, I feel like there has to be a medium somewhere in there. So I'm going to go see it again tomorrow before I do my review.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about?
Uh Garfield, no. Not really interested. And I'm not a big fan of the Mad Max movies either. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So those are one of the more ones that, obviously the baseball season is keeping me real busy as well. But I might check it out if I, hear some more raving reviews about it. But, we'll see.
Yeah.
So I did not. I was not a big Mad Max Fury Road fan. Like there are people who called it the best action movie of the year that year. Some people
Mm-hmm.
call it the best action movie of all time. I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but I really enjoyed Furiosa. It started out really shaky, and then it just worked its way up to kind of growing on me as the movie went along. Because the movie actually, I went into the theater with the movie on a -10. Like I did not want to be there. I will not lie. I went to the theater and I was like, why am I here? I almost got up and left because I just was like, there are other things that I could be doing right now. There are other things I have to do right now. But
Mm-hmm.
here I am at the movie theater. And as I was watching the movie, I was like, all right. Like after the end of the first act, I was like, all right, this movie is okay. Then the end of the second act, I was like, am I liking this movie? And then by the end of the movie, I was like holy shit, this movie is great. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
so it grew on me, and that's how I know that I like the movie because I already went in with a negative mindset, but it I thought it was a solid movie. Is it perfect? No. But it's definitely a good start to the Memorial Day weekend for moviegoers. If you're looking for one of those big budget action movies,
Mm-hmm.
it's beautifully shot. Like that, I can say, like it looks beautiful
For
on the
sure.
big screen.
Absolutely.
And I haven't seen Garfield yet. I plan on taking my kids to go see Garfield. We probably are going to do that tomorrow. Um, Depending on how my wife feels. So, but yeah, like
Yeah.
that's not something I think that's going to push the needle too much as far as this summer. There are a few
Mm-hmm.
other animated movies like Inside Out 2. I don't think Inside Out is really that much of a kids movie after looking at it. Like it's not like my kids are 5 and 8. So I don't think my daughter is going to enjoy Inside Out 2 as much as I would because like I enjoyed me and my wife loved the original Inside Out. And she had a great time. She had a great time watching that movie. I had a great time watching that movie because it kind of reminds you of being a kid, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
never been a little girl before, but like I've had those inner thoughts, right?
Yeah.
I've had like we all know those creatures that are in our heads, right? And I thought it was really funny when they would do the adult version of those, fear, anxiety, and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think I'm looking forward to that more than my kids are looking forward to that. But I'm gonna take them to see it
Yeah.
anyway because
Yeah.
that's my excuse to go see a good animated kids movie. Um, so yeah, back to June, and let's get to a few comments really quick before we do that. And we're talking about June releases. Cons of Kindness is a film that Ryan Lane's
Same.
really looking forward to.
Yep.
Um, I try my hardest to not see any previews for that movie, and of course they show one right before Furiosa, but it doesn't tell you anything about the movie. It's just
They
it's
don't
just
tell you
random,
nothing.
and that's what I want. That's what I'm wanting.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I know that a lot of people were fans of Poor Things. I watched that movie one night at 11 o'clock. I started it and I turned it off like 10 minutes into it. It just was a little too weird for me at the time. Like I have to be
Mm-hmm.
in a mental space to watch that. And they never played it here in the theater, at least in the AMC theater. They didn't play it here in my AMC theater, so I wasn't paying to go see that. Other than the A list that I have for AMC,
Yeah.
uh, is that
That's
something
actually
right
how
on?
I saw it. I saw it in a small, like, hole in the wall theater because none of the AMC's were playing it.
Yeah, it's really weird for. I thought that wasn't a huge release, but it was a big enough release where it should have been playing
For
in
sure.
AMC's.
Especially for an Oscar contender. Like, you should have that in your major theaters.
For sure. Ace is the kinds of kindness. Is that something that's on your radar or the bike riders?
Same as you, kind of staying away from the trailers, but I do like the casting though. Emma Stone, you know what I'm saying? I do love her and everything that she's in. William Defoe as well, so it's definitely something I'm gonna have to put on the watch list as well.
So I'm just gonna try to edit this layout so Kenny is not getting covered up by the.
It's all good, man.
Uh, yeah,
Oh,
you could
there,
just
there
move
we
us up.
there we go. I'm gonna move y'all to the other side because, and then
Yeah.
I could throw up these comments like this one.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely made a mistake using For Life in the title of the third movie. I honestly don't think they thought that movie was gonna do as well as it did. I don't think I didn't think it was gonna make as much money as it did. And I
Mm-hmm.
honestly thought that they thought this was gonna be the last one.
Well, no,
Like
actually, when it was announced, they announced two movies at the same time.
really? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Back
That
in
is interesting.
it was the first one was supposed to come out all the way back in, I want to say 2017, and things just got pushed back, and then the pandemic happened. So yeah, it came out during the pandemic year.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
about to say,
Well,
do you guys think because of how much time was in between 2 and 3 that hindered the success of Bad Boys for Life?
I don't think so. I thought it actually helped with it because it wasn't like it was something that people wanted because after Bad Boys 2, I wanted a Bad Boys 3.
Same.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know about the general public, but I wanted them to because Will Smith was still super hot and Martin Lawrence was still relevant. That's what I'll say. He wasn't as hot as he was at at the height of Bad Boys. Will Smith wasn't the known quantity. It was Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence, like
Hmm.
Bad Boys 1 was sold on the strength of Martin Lawrence being super popular at the time. But then Will Smith eclipsed Martin Lawrence for Bad Boys 2. Then for 3, Will Smith was still he wasn't at the top of the game like he was for Bad Boys 2, but he
Right.
still was a known quantity, right? And then you get this beloved property. Like there are people who like me being one of them who love Bad Boys 1 and 2. Like I love those movies. They're great
Same.
movies. And I'm a Michael Bay fan. I like
Mhm.
for all the crap people give him, he still gives me explosions, right? He still gives
Yeah.
me
Hmm.
like a good time at the theater.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, no, go ahead.
Yeah, and like the history of this specific franchise is that there's a ton of time between sequels. Like the first one was '95, the second one was 2003,
Hmm.
and the next one is 2020, which that's a lot longer than that time period. But now this time period is actually I think the shortest between movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it helped with Bad Boys for Life. I don't know if it's gonna help with this next Bad Boys, but because Bad Boys for Life did so well, I think that it didn't hurt the
Hmm.
franchise at all. So let's get to a few more comments. Collect the Movie Man, welcome in. Hey, have you seen that with T? I appreciate you for being here. We got Zach Mill. He was talking about the movies of 2023. Scream 6. I really had a good time with Scream 6.
Same.
I really
It's a good
did.
time.
Collect the Movie Man already got his tickets for Bad Boys 4. I will definitely be there day one as well.
I don't think I have no
Uh,
tickets.
Hey, I don't have tickets, but
Not yet.
I don't think Bad Boys like generally when I go to the movie theater, I usually go Thursday the night
Hmm.
before. But like
Hmm.
very other than Deadpool and Wolverine, I think that one is gonna be sold out. But most of the time, at least in my theater, it's never sold out. It's usually me and maybe at the most 20 other people. It's never really been a packed house, other than Felice and Frankenstein, which was weird because that movie didn't do that well at the box office, but my theater was packed. Like everybody came out to see Lisa Frankenstein. But yeah, Zach Mill was talking about how Furiosa was the most packed his theater's been all year, um, which is interesting because I saw Furiosa and there was, I think, me and only one other person there watching Furiosa.
My theater was packed, but that's because it was a screening, and screenings usually are packed. Because if you're giving
Yeah,
away free tickets, people won't show up.
of course. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And you live in a pretty big city,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, I can definitely imagine that. Let's see what else we have here. Collect the Movie Man says this is my movie that you're looking forward to in June. You got the Watches, Bike Riders, Quiet Place Day One, Horizon, American Saga. And we're going to talk a little bit about Horizon, American Saga a little bit later. But Inside Out 2 is going to be magical. Let's see. Collect the Movie Man's for July. We'll talk about July a little bit later as well. Zach Mills says under 6% chance they make a joke about Will Smith slapping Bad Boys, stopping Martin Lawrence for slapping somebody, or apologizing for slapping someone somewhere along those lines. Definitely over. What do y'all think that they're gonna make a slap joke?
I think
They're
it's
gonna
for
be
sure happening.
I think enough time has passed that we can
Yeah,
laugh at it now, like without it being like, oh, like, yeah, they're definitely gonna do it.
there'll be
for sure.
your think pieces, but no, don't nobody care about that.
No, that I think there's an over under that's going to happen in 30% of the movie. I think there are going to be so many different slap jokes in this movie that it's going to kind of wear out his welcome. I think by the end
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
movie, you're going
Do
to get
do,
tired of.
do we get like a meta fourth wall though? Break. Like, do they be like, don't make me slap you like Will Smith did Chris Rock, and then like a little wink and nudge at the camera? Like, I don't know.
I think that'll be a little too far. That one
I
might be like, come on, y'all.
I definitely know there's gonna be a slap. There's a preview where I saw Reggie, the kid that they
Yeah.
scared. So
Uh-huh.
he has like a kid with his daughter. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be involved in one of those slapping scenes.
I'm
Reggie
actually
the
so happy
Marine.
that Reggie has lasted as long as he did in this franchise. I never
Yeah.
expected to see him back. And it's really cool that he's actually a character now that's a part of this.
It was such an iconic scene. You had to bring him back at some point. Like, come
Yep.
on, everybody knows that scene.
Yeah.
But he
Yes.
just busted the door. Who the are you? Like, oh, like
That's one of the
you
best
know
scenes in
that
the
scene.
franchise.
Yep. So you look 30. Like now he does look 30. So it's like, yeah.
Right.
So
So Zach Mill also asked the question: what if Chris Rock comes out and slaps him in the cameo? I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think those two have mended those bridges, but that would be hilarious. I think that
That would
that
be
would
great.
really be funny.
yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. Over under or that happen, I'm gonna go under
Yeah.
10% chance that Chris Rock shows up in Bad Boys 4. But that would be an iconic scene, and that would be pretty dope if he did. Another movie that's coming out in June that's not on this list is coming out on Netflix. I don't know if you guys are tracking Hitman with Glenn Powell. Have you guys seen a preview for that? Looks pretty interesting as
I
well.
haven't. Let me pull it up
No, I
because I
have not
just
seen it
watched
either.
the trailer for Horizon in American Saga, and it actually looks pretty good.
So as you're pulling it up, we're closing out the month of June. We got the Quiet Place, day one. I saw a
Okay.
second preview of that, and yeah, the second preview sold me more than the first preview did.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Horizon American Saga. Are you guys Yellowstone fans? Anybody?
No, I've never
No,
watched Yellowstone.
neither have I. But people, I hear people talking about it, but I hear either good reviews about it or kind of like, like reviews about it. So,
Hmm.
but
So I go ahead.
no, but I was saying Quiet Place is definitely something I'm very interested in.
For sure.
For
Yeah,
sure.
because
I
that whole
think
that whole universe kind of like enambers me because obviously we've seen how it went to shit. You know what I'm saying? So I like to see the moments leading up to that, and it's got a really good cast. You know what I'm
That's got a
saying?
great cast.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I can't wait for that. Unfortunately, I do think the Lupita character will probably not be. Obviously she wasn't in the other movies. So, but they kind of like tied it into that. But I do like, I want to see how things transpire. You know what I'm saying? Like how it led to that point. Because like, and I try to like immerse myself in that universe. Like if this was real world stuff, like what would go down. So I'm very excited to see this movie.
Yeah, the thing I'm most excited for. I'm sorry, you were going to say something too?
No, no, no.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
The thing I'm most excited for is so we know what it's like to be in this world when everybody knows the rules. But
Yep.
when they first show up and nobody knows the rules, you can't make noise, and everybody's making noise. Like I'm excited to see the progression of people figuring out. Oh, I need to be quiet in a major city, by the way. So
Same.
I'm really excited, and also like not for nothing, the sequel, the A Quiet Place 2 was just as good as the first one, which I was shocked by. I
Mm-hmm.
did not think that the sequel would be just as good as the first one, especially with John Krasinski not being in it. Although he's still writing on it and stuff like that. I love this franchise, and it's literally the only theater experience I've ever had where you have your snacks, right. I was afraid to rustle them because the entire environment was being quiet. I was like, I don't want to be the one to make the noise. It set that tone. It was great. So I'm excited for Quiet Place Day One.
Yeah.
So I did see one critic saying, oh, they showed that at the beginning of Quiet Place Part Two. I love the New York setting because at the beginning of Quiet Place Part Two, they're in a small town, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That like they're playing the bit, and I thought that was a fantastic scene. Like with they're in a small town, they're playing
Right.
baseball,
Yeah.
and it gave that real small town feel. But like just imagine being in New York City where there are millions of people and everybody's having a different reaction. Like I know how I react,
Yep.
especially when you're around people. You know how you're around people and you're uh, things get exaggerated, right? Because you're next to someone who's feeling the exact same feeling you are.
Yep.
So I love the New York setting. I think that that's a perfect setting for it. I don't like my biggest thing is how do people survive as long as they do? Like I think that that's the most fascinating part of the whole movie to me is like seeing them survive and how tense that could be, being that you're
Hmm.
in a big city where every move you make in the city can possibly make noise because of all the shattered glass and things like that. So that's really exciting to me when it comes to day one. Um, Zach Mills said A Quiet Place is slightly underrated. I would agree with that. And
Yeah.
it's
Same.
definitely a classic. Yeah, it's definitely a modern day classic. I completely agree with that. I don't think it gets talked enough in a pantheon of great horror movies. As far because it's so recent, right? It's hard. Like I
Hmm.
think a lot of people don't want to title things the best of or classics because it's so brand new. 10 years from now, they're gonna be kids who are just like The Quiet Place is their favorite horror movie because of the time that they watched it, the time in
Right.
their life, so
Yeah.
it's
You know what?
definitely underrated for now.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
could
think
agree
is
with that.
really interesting as well is like I agree with that. I think that it's definitely like if this, especially if this one sticks a landing, like it's definitely going to be considered like a classic trilogy. I wonder though, like since we have so much content coming out, and I don't know if you guys are like this. I don't find myself rewatching a lot of stuff now because there's so much more stuff to watch. So things becoming a classic usually happens with rewatch after rewatch after rewatch. I
Rewatch
wonder
ability.
how our generation is going to consider things classics, even though there's so much other stuff to immerse yourself in, right? So you have to make a crazy statement like Doom Part Two, right? It landed, and I was like, yo, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. Before something's considered a classic, and I wonder if those things that people generally appreciate, like, continue to gain that appreciation over time because of how much stuff is coming out.
Yeah. See, it's hard, it's tough too because when it comes to classics, it might not be an immediate classic, but it might become a
Right.
cult classic. Because we've
Yeah.
seen so many times the fan base just loves, you know what I'm saying, the movie. And even though it's not getting overwhelming support in the box office, it may be a hit afterwards. Like movies that come to mind, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was like that. It didn't get a
Hmm.
lot of, attention until after it got out the theater. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I love Power Rangers 2017. You know what I'm saying? Like to me,
I
that
like
was
that
that
movie
was
a lot.
amazing. It didn't do well in the theaters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it takes a lot to become a true classic, and fan support, and just fans liking it more than what the numbers and what the critics say about it. I think is what
Hmm.
makes determines what is a classic or not. But back to the Quiet Place point though. Like I said, I want to see in this movie. You guys remember Resident Evil 2 in the beginning of that movie where they were showing the stuff that was happening before, and you seeing zombies and stuff getting arrested by the police department because then nobody really know what was going on. I want to see a lot of that in this movie because you guys had mentioned New York City is a very lively place, and
Yep.
the one thing that you can't be quiet there. You know what I'm saying? Car alarms, glass shattering, animals making noise, people
Trains.
walking, trains, everything. So it's going to be
Yep.
like Zach had said, it's going to be a bloodbath. And the one thing that does always baffle me with these movies, how did they get the newspapers out? Because like they had newspapers that were like the noise, like how did you get that out? Like is somebody riding that because you're making noise, like so that's just
Who
a little
delivered it?
critique.
Yeah. And yeah.
Exactly.
Somebody got to deliver it, right?
Yeah, but that guy's risking his life. He, throwing the paper like the old school. Here you go, and then hits the ground, and that guy is
Yep.
screwed.
I didn't even think of that. That's a great point. But yeah, like Zach said, this is definitely going to be a bloodbath. But yeah, that is those are really good points. And just wrapping up June, we got Collect the Movie Man said he's a big fan of Yellowstone. Looking forward to this Kevin Costner movie. It's a 4-part movie. The first 2 parts are coming out this year and next year, the last 2 parts. So as
Huh.
far and the reason I brought up Yellowstone, I'm a person of color. There are no black people in Yellowstone, at least not to my knowledge. And that's one of the reasons why I just kind of stayed away from it. There's like a contingent of people, and this is all me. This is all my personal bias on social media that really hyped up this show for whatever reason, and their reasons, at least from what I saw, just didn't align with my personal beliefs.
Hmm.
So
I
I
see.
kind of
Yeah, I get
stayed
what
away.
you're saying.
I kind of stayed away from it.
Yeah.
And Kevin Costner is really hit or miss with me when it comes to his films. So I don't think this is something I'm going to see in the theater, but I am interested because he really does do big films well. But at the same time, I still found Dances with Wolves to be very dry. Like that was not one of my favorite movies, but at the same time, like it garnered so many awards, it made me watch it because of all of the awards it watched it, but it just wasn't my type of movie. I didn't enjoy Dances with Wolves as
Yeah,
much as everybody else did. But we're
understandable.
gonna move on because we got I'm gonna be totally transparent right here. Sully Streams is my absolute favorite movie content creator
That's what's up.
because
Nice.
like it's just the way he structured things. It's what I kind of pattern my stuff after. I really like the like how well organized his stuff is, and I enjoy the water. The waterfalls is a good thing I don't have to use the bathroom right now. That would have put me over the edge. But Sully Stream said June's looking a little barren in the movie front for him. July is where the heavy hitters are this year. Deadpool, Wolverine, and we're going to definitely jump into July. But Sully Streams, I have a question for you, and you can answer in the comments if you're still here. Have you seen any Bad Boys yet? Because I know in one of your posts you said you had not seen any of the Bad Boys movies, and I think that's why June is feeling barren for you because you haven't seen any of the Bad Boys. Have you seen any of the Bad Boys films? And if you haven't, uh, Kenny Sparks said he is definitely live streaming the three Bad Boys movies this week. He's doing Bad Boys 2.
Yep.
So at 6 p.m. my time, I think it's 8 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time. That's when he's going to be streaming Bad Boys 2,
Yeah.
live streaming it for his channel members.
And the good things about like all the movies that they don't really have anything to do with one another. Like they are the
Yes.
same people, but you don't need to watch them in order at all.
Hmm.
For sure. And also, as we move on into July, Collect the Movie Man said the movies, these are my movies for July. They want to see Long Legs, Twisters, Deadpool, and Wolverine. And with that, let's just go ahead and jump. Anything else in June that stands out? Like Daddy-O, I put that on there. That's kind of in my wheelhouse. I don't know why. I love the walk and talk movies, right? The after sunsets, the before sunsets, the before like those Richard Linklater movies with Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke. Those movies where it's just one two people having a conversation. They usually are walking through a city some way. This movie, Daddy-O's, with Sean Penn and Scarlett Johansson. They're in a cab and he's taking her from point A to point B, and they're just having a conversation. Right? That's not a movie that I necessarily need to see in the theater, but I love those style of movies. That's why, and it's a theatrical release. That's why I had it on this list. I don't know if anybody else has Daddy-O
Yeah, I saw the
anywhere
trailer
on
for
there.
this a while ago, and I was, I'm the same as you. Like, I love like one setting types of movies where people are just talking. Like, those are some of the best movies that you can ever see, and the trailer for this did look good. So I'm probably going to check this out for sure.
Yeah, same as you guys. The one settings, can be very captivating because it's like you want to see how they get it done. Um, which one was one of my favorite one setting ones? I would say phone booth.
Phone
That was
booth,
that was
yeah.
definitely a classic one. You know what I'm saying? And this kind of reminds me of that. So
Hmm.
we'll see.
I don't know if you would count like Collateral as a one setting, but the most of it took place in the cab,
Cab.
um,
Hmm.
with Jamie Lee Fox and Tom Cruise. That movie was awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely Collateral is a classic. That's what in my pantheon of movies, I really enjoy Collateral a lot more than I had any rights to do.
Hmm.
And just a quick reminder, so why did this thing move back to the other side? So I caught Sully Stream. He hasn't seen any Bad Boys, even though he's a slight Michael Bay defender, but he's getting married the weekend that Bad Boys Ride or Die comes out. Well, definitely congratulations on that. Um, Congratulations on
Congratulations.
getting married. Definitely not a reason. Like,
Yay!
definitely don't want to go see that right before you get married. There are other things that you and the wife have to plan for that weekend. I'm pretty sure it's going to be highly stressful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
busy doesn't
congratulations
even
on that.
describe it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Bad Boys Ride or Die will be there after you get wedding. Yeah, exactly. Zach
Hmm.
just said there's always a honeymoon. But yeah, let's go
Correct.
ahead and jump into the month that really is going to define, I think, 2024. I think the month of July is going to be the telling tale of 2024. And just before we jump in there, let's go ahead and get to a few more comments. This is so true. Ken. There we go. Still covering up
Hey.
a little bit, but I'll figure this out one way or another. So true, Ken. There's so much competition every day. A lot of movies come and go. Time will be the true test of classics. We will be
Yep.
talking about The Quiet Place in 2050. Hopefully, we don't experience The Quiet Place before 2050. Uh,
For
but
real.
I
Either
do.
either that or Tomorrow War. Like that's the same thing. Now I'm just like, yo, phew.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I hope we don't
100%.
experience that before 2050. But I do think that's gonna hold up. I really do think that The Quiet Place is it's a timeless type of movie because it's so well acted, so well written. So I do think we'll be talking about it then. We got Collective Movie Man. One of his favorite movies that he considered classics is Lord of the Ring: Return of the King, who Zach Attacks still hasn't seen.
Yep.
Plus, it won all 11 Academy Awards. I enjoyed. I'm be totally honest. I'm not a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings films, except for Return of the King. I thought that movie was fantastic. That was one of the best movies of the decade that it came out. I'm terrible with years, but I remember watching that movie being so just entranced in that world. And Viggo Mortensen was so amazing in that movie. I really enjoyed Return of the King. So that is for sure a classic. And
Two
it did
Towers.
win
Yep.
tons of awards.
Be
Yeah,
right
Two
back. I
Towers
gotta
was one
take
of
care
my
of my
favorites.
dog
You
real
good?
quick.
Yeah, Two Towers was definitely one of my more favorite ones of the Lord of the Rings ones.
Okay, I so funny story watching the Lord of the Rings. I didn't see the Lord of the Rings in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
In the military, we have 24-hour duty. So
Mm-hmm.
you're sitting at a desk for 24 hours. And I watched all three Lord of the Rings starting at like 10 o'clock at night. So I'm watching all these movies going into the night. Like in Return of the King was so good, it woke me up because
Yeah.
it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning by the time I got to Return of the King. So I'm like exhausted, but at the same time, I'm like seeing how the trilogy ends. So Two Towers was like 1 a.m. to like 3 a.m. So
Mm.
I was like half asleep watching this movie. I remember me and the guy who I was on duty with, we're just watching all three Lord of the Rings movies. I remember that, and it was on a small TV too, which definitely took away from it. But the story was so great in Return of the King. I really, really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that it woke me up is a testament to how good of a movie it was. Let's see a few more comments. Ace just blew my mind with that question. I'm not exactly sure what question that was.
I think that was dating back to the Quiet Place with the newspapers and whatever. Because
Yes.
I seen
Oh,
that
okay.
pop up. Yeah, because I mean it's true. I think about stuff like that when I'm in movies. You know what I'm saying? Like when I go to the movie theaters, like little stuff like that. Like how did this happen? You know what I'm saying? I need to see. Like obviously we're in 2024. If the Quiet Place happened now, we all have smartphones. You know what I'm saying? So we would be notified that way. But
Yep.
it is interesting to see how things would happen. How are you going to talk to people? You know what I'm saying? How are you? Who's the first person that figured it out? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be
Right.
quiet. Like I'm sitting here quiet. They're not attacking me. But I also hope that in this movie with the Quiet Place, before we move on, since we kind of backtrack to that, I want to see how to determine like because if you make a noise, right? They kind of pinpoint to that noise in that area. But what if you've moved on from that point? So it's like it's just there's a lot of things that need to be explained.
Yeah. And
For
also,
sure.
last thing, last thing. Also, if you're in a city like New York where there's noise everywhere, how do you determine where to go in the first place?
Exactly.
But yeah, but that's it's fiction, so maybe a little too deep. Might have to shut my brain off and just enjoy it. But it's a question. It's definitely a question.
Yeah, I mean they do some stuff though, like them attacking cars that are making noise. So it's not like they're just pinpointing humans; they're hitting anything that's making noise. So it's just
Right.
I totally get it. The last thing about the Quiet Place before we do move on is that one scene in the
We are
preview where
excited for this movie. Yeah.
I really am. I think the
Yeah.
concept of it makes the movie a lot better. To me, I think it's such a dope concept. But there's one scene in the trailer where the guy when they're in why am I forgetting the name? The rotating door, right? The revolving door,
Yeah.
and they get stuck, and he makes that noise, and like you said, like so they're in there right now, and they make the noise. By the time that thing gets to them, I'm already gone. Like but like you're still making noise as you're running though, because people have to pant, people have to over exaggerate things because that's what humans do. We over exaggerate our movements instead of, you know, being fluent. But then again, who knows where they are in the story if they know that the noise is really, the trigger for these aliens. But we could definitely talk about the Quiet Place day one, this entire stream. We're going, we're gonna move on. I really am looking forward to that movie. And Sully Seam said, "I'm making him blush. Thanks for the kind words. You've been killing it lately." I seriously, I pattern a lot of my style, especially when it comes to note taking. That's one of the things that I've really taken from your channel, from your page. It's just how well structured your reviews are. I find myself saying and a lot. That took so much time to edit those out, even with the AI, like getting those taken out of my videos. So writing a script and sticking to my notes has really helped me to get to where at least get better with my content. Every time I see Deadpool and smile, Zach said he smiles every time he sees a Deadpool and Wolverine poster. Got his ticket booked. Me as well.
Same.
There's always the honeymoon to watch Bad Boys. Right. I don't. If your wife is down with that, more power to you. I know my wife would not want to go see a Will Smith and Martin Lawrence movie on our honeymoon. Let's see. Tomorrow War was actually pretty great. Zach Milne says Tomorrow War was actually pretty good. Underrated flick. I thought that was really good as well. I enjoyed that. I'm a big Chris Pratt fan. I don't really get too bored with Chris Pratt when it comes to his movies. But let's go ahead and talk about July now. Let's talk about July, and we'll get back to the comments. First week of July, July 4th weekend, we got two big movies. I think I spelled Despicable incorrectly, but we got Despicable Me 4, which is gonna make another $1 billion. This movie franchise finds a way for well, I know why. The Minions, kids love Minions. Every single one of their movies to make either $1 billion or close to $1 billion. So are you guys excited about Despicable Me 4? How do you feel about the franchise? I can honestly say my kids love it, but I hate it. But yeah.
Absolutely not. I hate this franchise so much. I can't even tell you how much I hate this franchise.
I can't tell if he's being serious or not.
I'm dead serious.
Oh, he's being serious.
The first one is
Put the
good.
mic closer to the
The first one is good. After that, I can't stand the Minions. I want them to be eviscerated. I'm telling you, I'm done with this franchise, yo. And I know a lot of people enjoy it, but I do not like this franchise. Enjoy what you enjoy. I will not be a part of this malarkey, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm gonna tell you this. Like Kenny said, the first one was classic. Second one was watchable to me. After that, they've periodically. The Minions was good to me. But Rise of the Minions was terrible. I actually walked out of the theater. Like, not because it was that bad, but because I was so tired, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Like, I remember working all weekend, and I'm like, this ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? But the movies have gotten worse and worse. But we'll see. This isn't something I'm going to rush to the theater to see. Let's put it like that. If it's on streaming and I catch it, and it's good, it might be one of those things like, oh, damn, I wish I would have took my niece to see this. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I think it's going to be one of those.
Yeah, the Minions to me is the same thing as like the Ice Age movies. Like the first one was really good, and then after that, it just got progressively worse. Especially with that little whatever that thing was, like chasing the nut. Like
Scrap.
it just was like, yo, I need you to cease and desist, yo, please.
Yeah, like but I mean that's what kind of scares me about Inside Out. You know what I'm saying? Because the first one was classic, so it's like at this point in time with the Minions movies, it just feels like a cash grab. Like they're gonna milk this franchise as much as they can, and obviously Steve Carell is a darling that everybody loves Steve Carell, but it's just like they're milking this.
Is it?
It's definitely a cash grab.
It's not DreamWorks. It's Illumination.
Yeah, Illumination. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Isn't
the
that
only
like
reason
all
I
they
know
have?
Yeah, because the illumination. That's the only way I
Yes,
know it too.
exactly. That's the only way I know it is those stupid minions, man. But my kids love it though. Like so that's definitely something I'm gonna take them to see. But something that I'm not gonna take them to see that I'm really looking forward to is Maxine. Like
Absolutely not.
yeah,
Can't take the kids to that. Oh.
no, no. But like, have you guys seen Pearl? Have you guys seen X? Are you excited about Maxine? That's something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I saw X last year. It was really good. I saw Pearl for the first time like a month ago. I enjoyed that way more than X, even though I enjoyed X. So I'm really looking forward to Maxine.
Yeah. I got to catch up on this. You know what I'm saying? I hear good things. So I'm gonna have to catch up on it. And the cast looks solid to me. So
For
Absolutely.
sure. I think if you watch X, you're gonna enjoy Pearl. If you enjoy Pearl, I don't think they're gonna screw up Maxine. Like the previews make it seem really really fun. Mia Goth is just in like there's something about Mia Goth that just like she doesn't have the look like that traditional look like of a Hollywood Scarlet, but she just
Hmm.
has that look of someone. Everything she's in, she's fantastic, right?
Yeah, I agree.
She gets cast in like the perfect roles for her. Either she's cast that way or she makes the roles perfect for her.
Yeah,
So I'm really looking forward to Maxine. Um, yeah, and also somebody mentioned it the same weekend on Netflix. We got another movie looking forward to. Collective Movie Fan says in July is going to be on Netflix. Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. I just watched the second preview, and that movie looks phenomenal. Like this looks way. It looks like Beverly Hills Cop 2, like that level of
that's a
good
good compared. Oh,
movie.
that's good.
Because Beverly Hills Cop 3 was terrible. I was not a big fan of Beverly
Yes, it
Hills Cop
was. It was
3,
terrible.
but I'm a big fan of the first two, and this one looks phenomenal. Like the second trailer really sells the movie more than the first one did. You guys looking forward to Beverly Hills Cop? Are you fans of Beverly Hills Cop? I know this is before a lot of people's time. Original Beverly Hills Cop came out in '86.
Big
Um,
time. I'm a
so
huge fan of
yeah,
Beverly Hills Cop, for
yeah,
sure.
it'll be
The
good to get
second
this
one
franchise
especially.
back. Yeah, it'll be good to get this franchise back. Like how
Yeah,
a lot of people feel with Bad Boys, it'll be good to get this back. So I'm excited to see this one.
yeah, because we're missing a lot of movies like this, where it's
Hmm.
like everything now just kind of feels a little over stylized, and I think things like Bad Boys, where it's just two dudes solving a crime. Things like Beverly Hills Cop, same thing, and it's funny. Like it's supposed to be legitimately funny, and this type of comedy just doesn't exist anymore. I'm not saying the
Hmm.
movies now are bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this doesn't exist anymore. So I'm really excited to get this back. I haven't seen the
Simplicity.
second trailer, but the first one was enough to sell me on it.
Yeah, simplicity at the end of the day. You can make good movies by being simple and not having to be
Yep.
super over the top and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this
There's a bomb on a bus, and if it goes over 50, it's armed. If it goes below 50, it explodes. That's the
exactly
story. That's all we need
cut
to know.
cut and dry. Simple as
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
you don't gotta. Not everything needs to be end of the world stakes. Like it's a bomb on a bus, but this meteor is coming. So
Right. Right.
for sure. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. That kind of reminds me, and that's why I've watched The Fall Guy 3 times already, especially since it came out on streaming. I love The Fall Guy. It's
Hmm.
so simple, but it's just executed very well. And I feel that Beverly Hills Cop kind of gives me that simple but fun vibe. And like, of course, the cast, like you getting Judge Reinhold back. We got Eddie Murphy back in rare form, that Eddie Murphy form. And we got I can't remember Taggart's name. But yeah, like you get the old cast back. Bronson Pinchot showing back up as Surge, which is always one of my favorite
Judge.
cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie. Um, got July 12th. We got Long Legs and Fly Me to the Moon. I'm not really looking forward to either one of those movies as far as going to the theater. Somebody, I think, Collect the Movie Man said that the only way he's gonna go see Long Legs if the movie theater is completely packed because when Zach Attack did his trailer reaction, it scared the hell out of them. And from what I hear, it's gonna be a scary movie. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bitch when it comes to scary movies in the theater. I
Gotcha.
usually go to the theater by myself, and I'm not like so. I sit up front. I usually sit in the second row of every theater that I go to, other than IMAX, where I kind of sit in the middle.
Hmm.
But I'm usually by myself in the row. And I'm all like when I go to see scary movies, I'm always looking behind my shoulder. I don't know why I think somebody's gonna come and like grab me in the theater. Like I don't know why.
Oh,
But
this fear is
the
real.
trailer for this, no, it is. It is. It all stems from Batman, the dude in Colorado. I live
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
I live in
Oh
a
yeah, yeah, I get that. I understand that.
I live in El Paso, Texas, where anything can happen. Like so, like it just you just never know. So
Hmm.
I live with a healthy fear, and it keeps me on my toes. Kind of keeps me alert. But yeah, like this movie, I'm in the same boat. Like I don't think that I will, even if it's a packed theater, I probably would want to go see it less because then I feel like there's more people who have a chance to grab. I don't know why I have this healthy fear of getting grabbed in a movie theater by a stranger just because. But yeah, like this movie does look scary. It has Nicolas Cage, who's like had a career resurgence. I think
Hmm.
like the last 2 or 3 years, like it negates everything he did for the decade previous to that. Like he had his run in the '90s,
Yeah.
then he was like not the person you wanted to cast, but now he's become the person again. Like he's a great actor. I love Nicolas Cage. Anything he does, I usually I'm game for it. Even the direct to video stuff.
Hmm.
But
Yep.
this movie does look pretty creepy.
Did you like
Um,
Dream Scenario?
I love Dream Scenario. I
Yeah, I
thought
thought
that
it was
movie
really
was
good.
so unique.
Yeah, I
Like
thought it should have been nominated. To be honest with
I thought he should have been nominated because I
you.
thought he did a fantastic job in that movie.
Yep.
Not playing Nick Cage, playing the meek and meager professor who popped up. Like he did such a good job in that movie. I think it gets understated because people just associate Nick Cage with being Nick Cage. Like they
Yep.
stop associating with being an actor now.
Yeah.
It's just it's just Nick Cage being Nick Cage.
Let him be Nick Cage.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
like, but I thought he like that role to me, even though it had like some of his isms, was really a transformative role for him. But a lot of his movies have been that way recently. Like he's not just Nick Cage being in a lot of these movies. He's like gone into his bag and really pulled things from roles that should not have been there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I would say when it comes
The
to him in these movies.
last Nicolas Cage movie I saw last year, Renfield. He was the movie in that one.
Yep.
It was okay. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't it wasn't didn't have. I mean, it was an interesting concept.
Hmm.
Didn't have super high expectations, but I enjoyed Nicolas Cage in that movie.
I thought he was good in that movie. I thought the movie was bad,
Hmm.
but I thought he was good.
Yeah, that one part had me weak though, where where he gets his own the dude gets his own apartment, and on the welcome mat it's like come on, and he's like shit. I was like, okay, I laughed my ass off during that one. That was hilarious.
I thought that movie had so much potential and it just was poorly written. I don't think I
Hmm.
think it was a missed opportunity. I thought it could have really been a great film, but it just missed the mark to me. Like I don't think it was a bad film. I just think it missed. Like I think I wrote the movie in my head because Nicolas Cage is
Hmm.
playing Dracula and the way the previews
Hmm.
were structured. And then I went to it and I was like, all right, this is nothing like I thought it was gonna be. And it just was. It was a movie that existed. And yeah.
And it wasn't
Uh,
advertised well. I just remember
no.
No.
seeing it in theaters, and I'm like, that seems interesting. And then every time I go to the movie theater, I see the trailer. I'm like, okay, this seems interesting. You know, interesting concept. You can win me over with concept. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go check it out. Never got a chance to see it in the theaters because I'm like, it wasn't advertised. But I'm like, oh, it came out already. So then I checked it on streaming services, and I'm like, I think I could have enjoyed this in the theater. So
Yeah.
For sure. And we'll move on. We'll move on to July 19th. We got Twisters and Sing Sing. Um, I'm looking forward to Twisters. I think Glenn Powell is about to enter a different stratosphere when it comes to movies. He has the movie Hitman coming out, which I think once people see it, it's gonna open up a different lane for him because I think he's a funny like anyone but you. He's pretty funny. Um, but I think this is gonna like Top Gun Maverick, you know, had him poised, but I think this movie is gonna like put him into a different level of action hero. Like I think he's gonna go into the Matt McConaughey stratosphere. Like
Mm.
he's become this generation's Matt McConaughey, that country guy who just kind of like embodies everything Texas. Like that, like that's his kind of bag. And I saw a different trailer for Twisters, and it looked phenomenal. Like the
Oh, I
second
saw the
trailer I
latest one
saw for
too.
Twisters,
Hmm.
it looks it looks totally different. Like the first one was like surface level. This one kind of gives away a lot of the movie, but it has me excited.
Yeah, I'm with there. I'm right there with you. The second trailer definitely sealed the deal for me with seeing this, so it's definitely something I'm gonna check out.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this. I like obnoxiously excited for it. So the first one I really enjoyed. I haven't seen it in over a decade, so I want to go back and watch that one again before I come back and see this one. But I'm such a fan of, like we said before, they don't make them like this anymore. Of like kind of the '90s disaster films where it's just people doing the most ridiculous thing. Why would you drive into a tornado? Why would you do that?
Hmm.
Like, in what world? Like, we want to study it. Study it from over there. Duh. What are you doing? Oh, we
Yeah,
got Dorothy. It's like, no, leave Dorothy out there and you go home. Like, what are you talking about? I know you got to get Dorothy in there, but still, it's crazy. And I'm excited for, and also Glenn Powell, who I really, really, really want to see cast as Cyclops. I'm really excited for his rise and his ascension. So, yeah,
it just seems like it's his summer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how
yep,
actors kind of come on the scene, and you know, like Jonathan Majors was one of them. You kind of just are everywhere really quickly. You know, Chadwick Boseman had the same thing, and so it just seems like he's one of them, and it seems like it's his time.
yeah,
Yeah, you brought up
totally
the
agree.
Jonathan Major thing. That was the first thing when you said like that's gonna, and that just takes me to a bad place that I don't want to be in.
Yeah,
Thinking
but that's what
about what could have been with Jonathan Majors
yeah,
because
but
he's
that's what Hollywood
fantastic.
does, though. Hollywood finds
Yes,
somebody that's really good, and then they kind of put them everywhere, like really quick in a short amount of time. So you see
Yep.
these guys become household names rather quickly, and then that pans to their success.
Sydney Sweeney, I think, is in the same boat.
She's
Like
Agreed.
she
oh,
seems to. So I was on Amazon Prime, and she has a lot of movies prior to anyone, but like she's been in a lot of films, movies that you've never heard of, where she
Yeah.
looks totally different.
yeah,
Like she doesn't like she's grown to be like this very beautiful. She was awkward looking in a lot of her early movies, like where you didn't I didn't even know that was the same person. Like
yeah.
she's grown into like a fully formed adult, but in her teen years, she just looked awkward. She
Mm.
like I There's no way around it. She just didn't look the same. And now she has the look. I feel
Yeah.
like can't think of her name now, but she has this girl who's in Ted 2. I cannot think of her name with the far apart eyes. That they kept making.
Amanda Setterfield,
Yes,
Amanda,
yes.
yeah,
Like
Far apart eyes is hilarious, by the way.
yes.
yeah. And they were making hella jokes about her looking like Gollum. That was hilarious.
No.
Yes, that was the funniest
Once you
part of the
see
whole
that, you
movie.
can't. Once you
You
see that, you
cannot
can't.
see it.
Yeah.
You
She
cannot
That's
see
said,
it.
crazy.
"Do I have fuck me eyes?" I said, "No, you have give me the precious eyes."
What?
You didn't see
Oh,
Ted too?
no. I
What? Go
haven't.
watch that.
I
Go
haven't seen
watch.
Ted
Have you seen
one,
the
to be
first
honest
one?
with
You
you.
ever seen Ted?
No.
I'd watch it.
No.
If you like Family Guy, that's all it is. It's a Family Guy
Okay.
movie. It's a big,
Nah.
like the
I
Family Guy
definitely need to check it
cutscenes.
out.
So
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I'm
That is
in tears
wild.
thinking about that. That's like one of the funniest jokes that
yeah,
I've
Because when
ever
you said
heard.
far apart eyes, I think Anya Taylor Johnson. Yeah. Joy.
yeah. Oh
Joy.
yeah. Well,
Anya Taylor
her
Joy.
eyes are more
Yeah.
like like squintier though, but
Mm-hmm.
Amanda's are like big and stuff like that. But to T's point on Sydney Sweeney, we all know how she broke through the scene with she was great in Euphoria,
Yeah.
but
Fantastic.
obviously she made her mark in the blockbuster hit Madam Web. We all
Yeah.
Send her
we
into the
that we
stratosphere.
she was probably the only reason why a lot of us went to go see that movie. Let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
that movie was terrible.
Yeah, it
So,
was awful.
Extremely terrible. Before we get to the big, a big blockbuster of July, I'm just gonna go through some more comments. I don't want to. We have a lot of people in the chat, and I really appreciate everyone for being here. So I don't want you to think that we're ignoring the chat. It's just a really good conversation. Star Wars. It's really good, underrated flick. Zach.
Your mic is
your
breaking
mic
up a
is,
little bit.
yeah.
Okay.
I hear you
Is
now.
it? You sound
Okay,
better
got
now.
it better.
Hmm.
All right, Collect the Movie Man said, I think we're more realistically going to have a Terminator happen than anything else because of artificial intelligence. Thank you, Collect the Movie Man, for bringing up my anxiety again because I truly do think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm with you
I
on that.
truly think that, like, okay, like that we could talk about that for a whole nother podcast or a whole nother
What,
live
Tomorrow
stream.
War? Oh,
No, talk about the artificial intelligence
oh,
and Terminator, how that could actually be a reality. Kind of the creator mentioned a lot. Like I feel like it'll be a lot more like the creator than it'll be
Hmm.
anything else. But yeah. So movie reviews of Ryan Lane said wasn't that impressed with Tomorrow War, but a friend of mine really enjoyed it. I thought it was an enjoyable, like action film. It's a movie you turn your mind off and just have fun with it. The end got a little weird. I don't want to spoil the end, but I thought the end was a little weird, or how they tied everything together. But I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I thought it was a good concept, and like I said, you'll win me over with that. The one thing I liked about it is that we actually got to see,
Oh,
like, it took over in the future. Obviously, they solved the problem in the future, but then they were able to come to the past and solve the same problem. It's not like they were just like, okay, well, we know how to defeat it, and then pan to black. Like, I'd have like, bro, like, come on, we want to see that. But that I didn't, like I said, I didn't expect that final scene, so it was something that I've rewatched it several times, and I think it's a rewatchable movie. It falls in the Quiet Place category as far as monster wise. Like I look at those monsters as kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? Like same
Mhm.
body structure and stuff like that, but not
Yeah,
not to the quality of Quiet Place, but monster wise.
for
yeah. I
sure.
gotta see it. I've never seen it.
It's on
I was
Amazon Prime.
interested in it when it was being promoted. I just never pressed play for whatever reason.
Good budget. It was backed well by Amazon. You can tell. So
For sure. And Zach Milne asks a very poignant question. How many people in Quiet Place died by fart? Two silent but deadly count.
or stomach grumbles
No,
and like stuff like that. Anything.
exactly. Like I
Hmm.
try not to a lot of times, especially when I do Zach Milne stream. I just wake up and I don't eat anything. So I hope the people on the stream don't hear my stomach grumbling. But yes, how many times that like a fart, that's a terrible way to go.
Yeah,
I mean, at
a
least you're
lot of people
relieved.
caught it.
Like
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
at
I wouldn't
least
make
you're
it.
relieved.
I got bad allergies. I wouldn't make it. I'd be like, all
Yeah,
right, come
sneezing the
get away from
entire
me, guys.
time.
Like, yeah, that's it. But I mean, obviously, there are ways around it. But that is funny,
Hmm.
Zach.
Zach Mills said, I think Despicable Me is the only movie in July that rivals Deadpool's box office. That is a fact.
I think that's
Despicable
yeah.
Me,
I think that's right.
they're gonna make so much. That movie just prints money.
Especially
Definitely
being
just
three
prints
weeks
money.
apart.
Yes, because I don't think a lot of people. July 12th, I don't think anyone like. I think Fly Me to the Moon is gonna flop. Long Legs is gonna have the horrorcore fans come out there to see it.
Hmm.
Twisters, people might go see it. Like Glenn Powell's a big name in the movie space, but I don't think he's like a big name to the general public to where people are gonna
I agree.
flock to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's waiting for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep.
So but of course they're gonna take their kids to go see Despicable
Yeah,
Me.
of course. I don't know if you guys
Hmm.
talked about Fly Me to the Moon when I walked away, but that seems like an eye candy movie. That seems like we're gonna put some handsome and good looking, beautiful cast members in there, and just hope to, ride off that is what it seems like to me. So
It's made by Apple Plus or Apple Movies, whatever they call their studio, and they have a very eclectic uh filmography. Like they have a lot of different genre films. This doesn't seem like this kind of like I don't know if anybody watches what is the name of that show? It's the Apple TV show about the space race. Um, but like that's done real like the first season of that was done really well.
Is
And
it
you're
for
right.
all
I
mankind?
yes, For All Mankind. For All
Okay.
Mankind, that's like the space race film. This movie is nothing like that, but at the same time, it has Channing Tatum, who has another summer movie coming out that we'll talk about a little bit later. His star is kind of trying to come back. Like he had a really good run. Scarlett Johansson,
Chris
I
Evans is supposed to be in
watched.
it too.
Is he? Oh wow,
Yeah, I'm looking at
I
the
didn't
cast
know
as
that.
Evans supposed to be in it too, along with Woody Harrelson. So they have a cast that we is a well known cast. That's why I said eye candy. Chris Evans, Channing Tatum, you know what I'm saying, Scarlett Johansson's beautiful, stuff like that. So I think it's going to be one of those movies. And obviously, I can't say the title without singing the song. So that they need to lean into that heavily. So.
Yep.
For sure. I don't think that I'm gonna go see that in the theater. I think that's why we kind of glossed over it. I don't like that's not a movie that's really on my radar. Um, let's see. Okay, got Despicable Me is a kind of franchise everyone either loves or hates with no in between. That is a fact. That is a true fact because I'm not a fan, but my kids love it. Collect the Movie Man said, I still have not seen Ice Age. Still waiting for them to put out a 4K release of all those movies. Wow, I thought those would have been because those movies made a lot of money too. Like, and they make a lot more money on physical media because I lived in Germany. I think when Ice Age 3 or 4 came out, and those were huge over there. Like in Europe, the Ice Age movies were huge for some strange reason. And they made it, all of them made a lot of money. Like you said, after the first one, you could have like released all of them, and I would not have cared because they just weren't quality movies.
Yeah, they did. I do believe that they made money though, for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, those Ice Age, like you said, Despicable Me is like the Ice Age of this generation because they just made a ton of money. People wanted to go see that. I call it as a squirrel. Like I don't know what it was. Scrat was like
I
a
was like,
thing
what is
that
that?
Squirrel.
like always going like they put him in other things because that's how big of a character it was.
I always like the Sid character more, obviously, him being stupid and over the top. But it was well done. The thing about this movie is, like I said, I'd be okay if they stopped at one. But I understand it's a business. They saw how much it made. They're like, oh, if this went well, let's make more. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You know, it is what it is. They do it all the time. Look at Fast and Furious. That shit's still going on.
And they're gonna keep that. Those movies print money. Zach Mills said, I haven't seen Judge Reinhold since Tim Allen roasted the sweaters he wore in Santa Claus. Like Judge Reinhold had a run in the 80s. Like if you're old enough to remember Judge Reinhold's run, like he owned like 2 or 3 summers. He was in these like quirky comedies and he just was everywhere. Like he was in a lot of different 80s movies. Were they good or not? Not like who's to say? But he had a run and then he just disappeared. After I think Beverly Hills Cop 2, you just really stopped seeing him in Hollywood. And he probably was burnt out, you know.
You get those a lot. You get those guys that just kind of leave, and then you wonder, like, did they pass away? And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, where'd he come from? He kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got
100%.
the cosmic broadcasting here. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. If you'd have told me 5 years ago that Despicable Me could be a direct competitor to Deadpool 3, I would have called you a liar. What a time to be alive. Like that's gonna eat into some of its money. In all honesty, like Despicable Me is not a lot of it, but like that movie is gonna make a lot of like when you have 2 movies that are both making like Barbenheimer, right? Barbie, those 2 movies made a lot of money, but I feel like because that was an event and they all came out around the same time, people made the double feature. I would have never done that because Oppenheimer was way too long for that.
Everything. I did it, by the way. I did do the double feature.
Oh, really?
That's wild.
I think I went Oppenheimer first though because it was and I hate IMAX. I went to Oppenheimer first just because of how the timing was, but it was an event, dude. Like people were there in shirts. They were there in everything, and I was like, it made me feel like the midnight releases, dude. Remember when movies just this is when movies were events. Remember, I'll never forget the first Avengers. They had a Marvel movie marathon. When you actually had to get there at midnight or an hour before midnight and wait in line, that's when movies were events. And Barbenheimer made it feel like that again.
The last midnight showing I went to, I'm pretty sure was the first Hunger Games movie. Yeah.
Like, I love the early Thursday releases, but it's killed the midnight release. Like, those used to be events, dude.
I'm in my 30s, man. I'm turning 34 in like 2 weeks. The midnight release, I will be knocked out in that joint. Like I'll be.
This is a fact.
I would not make it.
The last midnight release I went to was actually Far From Home, right?
Okay.
That was the last midnight release, and you know what they had? Oh man, I'll never forget because the theater messed up because I usually go see it in Dolby. the studio sent them over the wrong footage because they couldn't translate it to Dolby. So we waited an hour and a half after midnight to finally see the movie. I didn't walk out of that shit till like 4 or 5 in the morning.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I would have fell asleep on that for sure. Let's see. We're gonna get to a few. Speed is one of the best scripts ever.
Absolutely.
Debatable, but Kenny, that's his favorite.
Debatable.
That's your third. That's your third favorite movie.
You might be getting to
Uh,
Speed 2. You might be getting to Speed 2.
Yeah, Cruise Control.
Cruise.
Speed. I agree. Speed was one of the best ones because it was simple. It had Keanu Reeves on the rise, Sandra Bullock on the rise as well. You know what I'm saying? Like they had great chemistry. Very simple concept. Like Kenny was talking about earlier. Bomb over 55, die. Get everybody out the way. So good. So compelling.
Yeah.
So got Zach Mills. He said he loved Renfield. Kelly Corbett, one of my battle buddies, one of my best friends in life. Thank you so much for being here. I forgot to text you to remind you, but you made it anyway. That's dedication. That's real friendship right there. Unhinged Nick Cage is the best Nick Cage, or the funniest at least. You're 100% right.
Yep.
Face Off, one of my
Face
favorite
Off.
action movies of all time.
Yes. Same.
Love it. Unhinged Nick Cage just works. We got Zach Mills talk movie that has so many flaws, but you were so entertained. Must be talking about Renfield. It did have a lot of flaws. I was entertained. I'm not a big Awkwafina fan. This movie almost made me like Awkwafina.
You kind of get annoying at this point. I'm not
Extremely.
Like,
Extremely.
especially like in Little Mermaid, I was like,
What?
when her
What's the
original song came on,
scuttlebutt? Let's go.
dude, I was like cringed as hell. I was like, can this turn off? Like, can we fast forward through this part?
Like,
this
like
is
what's the
terrible.
scuttlebutt?
No,
Oh, I was in
that
there.
Was terrible.
I was
bro.
like, yo, go ahead, dog. What's a scuttlebutt? I was all in there, yo.
I couldn't do it, bro. That shit was just butt. To me, it was just butt. Like,
Oh man.
bro, I could not do it.
Oh my god.
Love that movie, but I'm just like, as soon as that part came on, because I went to see it twice, one for review, and then one with my niece, first time taking her to the movie. As soon as that part came on, I looked at my sister, like, you're gonna hate this. Like, and I was literally like in the theater, like, and it's like, oh, terrible.
That was my jam. I'm also glad to hear you say that you love that movie, because I am also a person who really likes that movie, and I actually think it's better than the original.
I'm like that too, and I'm also with that with Aladdin. We could have a different conversation about that. I think the Aladdin movie was better than the original, but we can get into the Disney topic in another topic. But I got a lot to say about that.
I never saw the Aladdin, but the Little Mermaid was too long. Like taking little kids to go see like that movie was like 30 minutes too long.
From that standpoint, I
can see
understand. I could, because of that point she made, because of little kids, I completely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was my only gripe.
Yeah,
correct. That was my only gripe with Little Mermaid. A great
Melissa
movie.
McCarthy was great.
Too long.
In that.
Oh yes,
she's perfect. I couldn't. There's nobody that you could tell me that was better as Ursula than her. Nobody could have done it. Yep. That's why I feel the same way with Will Smith and Aladdin. Like obviously Robin Williams
was awesome.
But live action, Will Smith brings that energy over the topness, and music wise, him having a music background helped this movie out a lot as well. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
So it sounds like you guys could definitely talk about this. I've never seen Aladdin. That was before. That was prior to my kids being old enough to check out movies. But I'm pretty sure at some point we're gonna watch that movie. Cosmic Broadcast can't wait for the third and movie in the franchise. Twisters. Yes. Pretty funny. Twisters. Squared, cubed, whatever the third is.
Cubed is dope. Yeah.
Sweeney was awful in Madam Web, but she's really good in Immaculate. I've not finished Immaculate. I started it, but I have not finished that movie. The first quarter of it was not it for me. I stopped when there was a scene where they're like somebody's bathing her in water and they're all in gowns, but everybody's nipples are showing. I was like, this is too much. I don't want to see nuns' nipples. Like, I don't know why that they thought that was like it was just. I just stopped it because it was late, and I usually watch like horror movies when it's late, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna be able to focus the rest of it, but I'm gonna watch it. I heard the second half of it was really, or the ending was really good, so Definitely.
I don't blame Sweeney for Madam Web. I thought
No,
she was
no,
really good in Euphoria. Um, that was just a bad writing. That was terrible. That movie
That
should
movie's
never came out.
awful. Yeah.
That movie should
no.
never
It
came out.
should not have.
And
Despicable
they're getting
Me.
more of those.
Somebody looked at that and said, "Yes, let's do that." I can't.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it was the spy, like the spider adjacent part of
Oh,
the
of
movie. They
course.
thought that that would sell it, and it did because people like initially went to go see it because they
Hmm.
for some like the general population probably had no idea Spider-Man wasn't going to be in it. They saw the three Spider Women, so they probably assumed that at some point Spider-Man would show up and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was
Dakota
like
Johnson.
this was like a prequel to a movie that could have been better. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
they
for
gave
sure.
you a little bit, something, and then like I said, the Spider-Man Easter eggs. They thought that was gonna be enough. Like, what should we name the baby? Like, come on, man, we already know that's Peter. Like
Those Easter eggs were more annoying than
they were.
anything
Yes.
else in the
I
movie.
felt
Yeah.
disrespected by watching them. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like,
Right.
and obviously due to contractual reasons with MCU, they can't even say it. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know,
That was the worst part of that whole movie to me. That baby shower scene. That was like the
Oh
most
God.
awkward. It was.
Yeah.
It was just. It was terrible. I was in the movie theater, like about to walk out because I was like, "This can't be. This can't be it." But I finished it, unfortunately. Movie reviews of Brian Lane said Despicable Me doesn't even have to advertise anymore because of countless memes online. That is very true.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to advertise for that because people are just gonna. They see Gru, they see Minions,
tells itself.
and they automatically are going to go see it. Like,
Yep.
especially if they have kids.
100%.
Collect the Movie Man said the only thing I don't want Glenn Powell to see the spotlight of Bill Paxton. It looks like Glenn Powell is just trying to be just like Bill Paxton. I want Glenn Paul to make it his own. I don't like Bill Paxton was never an action star to me. I thought he grounded the movie more than anything. Like when it comes to the original Twisters, I just never saw him. He's like a character actor to me, so I never saw him as like an action hero. I think that was one of the detriments of the original Twisters. I feel like if they had a different actor, it would have become, even though it was a huge blockbuster, because it was that was like CGI. That was the time where disaster movies really had their run. You know, that was Armageddon and Independence Day, like these huge disaster movies where they're just destroying things, and that was it. Like I think that the Twisters made Twister more than Bill Paxton made Twister. So I don't think like me as a movie going fan, I love Bill Paxton as an actor. So I don't think
Mhm.
that Glenn Powell can steal his thunder, but at the same time, like Glenn Powell's bringing his own different energy to the
Yeah.
role, and I'm really looking forward to that. But before we get on, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into it because Collect the Movie Man asked how many he thinks Taylor Swift is going to show up in Deadpool and Wolverine for a duet with them. I would hate for any music to be in that movie. I already don't enjoy the fact that Joker 2 is going to be some type of jukebox musical. But Taylor Swift showing up in this movie, do y'all think she's going to show up in this movie? But first of all, how excited are y'all for Deadpool and Wolverine?
I'm over the moon for it. And yeah, I'm like, this is the next thing I'm like really well. I mean, of course, I'm looking forward to Bad Boys, but this is like the crown of the summer. Like, this is what I'm going to see, right? Will Taylor Swift show up? Maybe. Like, I don't immediately count it out, right? It was like
Yeah.
maybe she will. Like, there's a good chance that she might. I know a lot of people said like Dazzler, which I think that makes sense, and I will be for it. So yeah.
Yeah. Before I get into what I think about Deadpool Wolverine, Taylor Swift being in it doesn't move the needle for me. It's not going to change my excitement any more or less.
Yeah.
I'm not going to move out of theater and be like, oh shit, Taylor Swift wasn't in that movie. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, how excited am I? All of the excitement. Like, it's going to be, man, it. First of all, MCU needs this movie to do well. Like where we're at with Phase 4 and 5, they're kind of banking on this movie. I've said it before and I say it again. I hope that this movie turns out to be what we expected from Multiverse of Madness. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that was a huge letdown. I hope that this movie's that. X-Men are kind of a hot topic right now, thanks to how good X-Men 97 was.
Yep.
And you were there. I had said it on Zach Milne's, channel. Shout out to Zach and Ryan who were on the panel with us when we were talking about it. X-Men 97 didn't give us a lot of Wolverine. So a lot of people want Wolverine now. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So this movie is going to be that. And I think it was methodically done like that. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not pretty sure, but I wouldn't surprise me if MCU was like, hey, don't incorporate too much Wolverine in your X-Men 97 because we want to, we're going to go over the top with him. I think the cameos need to be there. I put this on Kenny's live stream yesterday. I would love to see McAvoy cameo. I would love
Yeah,
to see Daniel
yeah.
Radcliffe cameo. Like,
Hmm.
give us a lot of those things that we wanted to see. Would love to see Tom Cruise pop up real quick, you know what I'm saying, as Iron Man, you know what I'm saying, because we didn't get that in Multiverse of Madness. Would love to see them hop around and just have the shenanigans and the team ups and the buddy cop thing pop over to the end game real quick, pop back
Yep.
over. I want to see it all. But am very cautious about trying to make this movie better in here than it is going to be on screen because I
Yeah.
had that problem with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Same. Go ahead. I'm sorry, T. Go ahead.
I would say for sure, like Multiverse of Madness, my expectation was way too high, and I don't think any movie, in all honesty, I don't think any movie could have met my expectation of what I thought Multiverse of Madness was going to be. This one, I'm definitely optimistic. I'm more optimistic for this movie than I am of actually any MCU movie, other than maybe No Way Home. But what I really want to see is Gambit in this movie. Like I think Gambit stock because of X-Men 97 has risen to like everybody wants to see him on the big screen now. Like
Are you thinking
his
Channing? Are you thinking Channing for
I,
Gambit
I
or?
hope so. I hope so. That would just a cameo. Like I don't think
Mhm.
long term. I don't think Channing Tatum. I think they really need to go younger with a lot of these
Hmm.
characters because the X Men is going to be moving forward in the MCU. So I think for this movie, I think this movie is going to be a cameo fest where we're going to get just like Multiverse of Madness. You're going to get the one offs where we're going to
Yep.
get the dream casting. You might get the Tom Cruise Iron Man. You might get the Channing Tatum is so for doing cameos. He's done cameos in so many different movies. Like I feel like either he owes a lot of people favors or he does these movies so people owe him favors. Sorry about that. But I like he always pops up in these movies where you least expect him, like Bullet Train. I think he showed up at Bullet
this
Train and he just
this is the end. when, he,
yes, this is the
when
like
he popped up
he
in that cameo, bro, I was floored. That shit was hilarious.
like he's definitely there for, hey, I'm just here for a day to get a check and I'll do this and he'll get to, use occasion action. So I would love to see that. I would just love to see Gambit on the big screen. I don't think that that's too far fetched for this movie because I think that they're going to go above and beyond. It's not going to be a lot. Like it might be just like in a Deadpool 2 where you just open the door and there they are. Like that X-Men scene was fantastic. That
Such a
was
good one.
that like underrated. I don't think that scene gets talked about enough. How just
I
out
agree.
of place it was, but at the same time, it was perfect. So yeah, I'm really looking. I would love to see Gambit in this movie. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I have to keep my expectations kind of tethered in reality because there's no way realistically you can do in a movie what I want you to do with this movie. Like no movie. Like if I'm really excited about something, I want to like I've already written the movie in my head
Hmm.
and I'm expecting this bombastic thing and it might not be that, but I'm going to be happy whatever I get because I trust Ryan Reynolds to put out a product that he is passionate about. I don't trust Hugh Jackman because he said he was done with it and he's coming back. I think that, of course, it's for money and friendship, but I trust Ryan Reynolds to give us a good product and atone for the origins of Wolverine.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you because Ryan loves this character. He was, destined to play this character. So I think that they're going to do it right. And the MCU needs a win in the worst way. I think that this is going to be one of those movies that, changes the dynamic of what we see because of the potential of what they can actually do. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, let's be realistic. This is the only Marvel movie we're getting this year. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be hype. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna flock to it. So this is the movie of the year. Not
I
saying
was.
it's gonna win
Yep.
movie of the year, but the movie of the year.
Yeah, I was already excited for it because, like you said, it's the last movie of the year. I thought it was the last Marvel thing we were getting this year before we heard about Agatha coming out in September. So I was already over the moon for this. And yeah, like you said, the cameos, I'm excited, man. Like even in like the second trailer, you see like Lady Deathstrike. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they're bringing back Lady Deathstrike. Like that's such a I don't even know if you would call it a deep cut, but you know, from X2, like she was awesome in X2. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like where they go with it. So yeah, and you got the TVA involved too. So I'm interested in seeing the TVA's role. But I also agree with you. They really should go younger with these X-Men in the casting and stuff like that. I think this will not be the last time we see Wolverine or see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I do think this will be the last time we see him in this big of a role as Wolverine.
Yeah, I expect to see him again in Secret Wars.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
for sure.
I think didn't they talk about he's already they're in talks with that with him and Toby to be kind of the front runners of Secret Wars. I don't know. You hear all
Yeah.
these rumors and stuff, but I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Mm.
So,
I would, what I would say to all of the YouTubers out there, get your content ready. Your channels are gonna see a spike at the end of July. It's gonna see a huge spike at the end of July when this movie comes out. Have your Wolverine and Deadpool content out there, ready to go. Like write some stuff down. I'm telling you, this is a good time for content creators. Like Marvel pushes the needle when it comes to, I think, the movie YouTube space, because there's so many Marvel fans out there.
Yep.
Some of my highest viewed movies were Marvel movies. Some of my highest listened to podcasts were Marvel movies. When I did my Marvel wrap up, I would do like, anytime a Marvel movie come out, I would do a ranking on my podcast, and a lot of people listened in. If you just put Marvel in the title, like you're gonna get a lot of content from that. So definitely have your content ready. Be prepared to talk Marvel for the entirety of the end of July going into August, because it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a good time for content creators.
oh yeah, I agree.
100%.
I agree because like leading up to this movie, I think this is going to be a closeout of the Fox verse. Leading up to this movie as a content creator, do something so simple like rank all the Fox movies. You know what I'm saying? Do that real quick. Do a ranking of all the Deadpool movies. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to that, and obviously, afterwards you can do a non-spoiler review. You can do a spoiler review. You can just have a session like this where people just talk about it like a week after the movie because it's going to be that big. It's going
Yeah.
to sell out theaters. You know what I'm saying? The tickets are already crazy. I was able to get myself 2 for opening day, and it's going to be an event, and I can't wait,
Yep.
man. I can't wait for this. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I got myself one for the Thursday for the fan event. I got one for Friday
Fan event too,
as
yeah.
well. I'm looking forward to it, man. And you're absolutely right. Like you do like the live streams or the sport. So what I would typically do is I'll do my non-spoiler review, and then I'll do a live stream of the spoiler conversation about Deadpool and Wolverine, which also they made themselves even more money by calling this Deadpool and Wolverine rather
Yep.
than just
Deadpool
Deadpool 3. So yeah, they did a great job with this all the way around. And big props to Ryan Reynolds. I don't think it can be understated how much this is still his baby and his promotion of this. You can tell like he's still behind. Like he got this movie. He got the first movie made in the first place, right? And then he's just carried it throughout. Yeah, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I had said this when we were on Zach's channel with T and everybody. This movie to me doesn't need any more trailers to sell. Give me
No.
fun. Give me fun commercials slash promos like what they just did with the what was it, beer Heineken, whatever. He's like, I just borrowed your adamantium. Give me stuff like that. And obviously
Right.
there was a leaked commercial for the theaters that came out talking about them silencing their phones. Just give me stuff like that. I don't need to see anything super crazy because I'm already sold in this movie. At that point, you run the risk of major spoilers. So just give us a
Right.
lot of fun promos, just like what they did in the beginning where, hey, Hugh, you want to be Wolverine again? Like, because these two are amazing on screen together, and it's going to be such a fun time.
Just like you mentioned
Yeah.
with Multiverse of Madness. Why did we need to see Professor X in the trailer? Why did we need to see that? There's
I
no
felt the same
reason.
way. Yeah, I felt the same way with Hulk and Ragnarok, to be honest with you. Like, just
Yeah.
imagine how much better that scene would have been if you didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, 100%.
This complete facts. And that PSA, the turn off your phone thing, that played right before Furiosa. Hilarious. Like genius move. Once again, like that's a genius, like breaking the fourth wall, calling people bub. Like it just it just works on every level. and it just gets the anticipation for the movie. You're right. They don't need another trailer. You just need to see Wolverine and Deadpool on the screen together, doing like little jabs at each other and doing little fourth wall breaking, and you're just gonna. Everybody's already invested, right? We're
Yep.
already invested in the characters. If you don't know the characters, I think you're not gonna learn anything new about the characters. You're just gonna have a great time. Like this
Yeah.
movie is gonna be a great time. I don't think it's not going to be too deep. Just turn your brain off, watch people get chopped up by swords and claws, and just have a good time. But before we move on to August, let's go ahead and catch up on some of these comments. We got quite a few comments in the set, and I really like. I can't overstate enough how much I appreciate just anybody showing up. Um, I told the guys before we started, we might have zero, we might have one person in here. Like either way, we're gonna have a good conversation. But I really appreciate, especially Zach Mill, uh, Ryan Lane. We just did a stream, an hour ago or 2 hours ago, and you guys are here. I really appreciate that so much. Just the support that you guys are giving me. I can't overstate it enough, and everybody else who's in here. But let's go ahead and get to some of these comments. We got Collect the Movement again. The last midnight release went to with Star Wars episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. It was an amazing experience. The movie wasn't perfect, but I still loved it. Those Star Wars midnight releases were different. Like
Yeah.
those were a time. Like the prequel release, I went to every single one of the prequel midnight releases. It was a bunch of guys that I was serving with, and we would all get tickets. We would all talk about, oh, we got our tickets, and then we would just be in the theater and we would just look around, we'd see each other, and then those were events. Like people would dress up as Star Wars characters. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I'm on the record as saying that on a lot of different people's stuff. But at the same time, when those movies came out, even the sequel trilogy, like when those movies came out, those were events. Like those are
Yep.
different times, different, like it was just a different atmosphere. It was a different movie going environment. But yeah, those were amazing experiences. See, I got to see the Force Awakening and movie at midnight. One of the favorite movie going experiences ever. I was the same way. I went and saw that one, the midnight release. But by that time, I think when the Force Awakens came out, they were doing like 7 o'clock showings, so I didn't have to actually go at midnight, which helps old people like myself. Like those midnight showings are rough. Getting home at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't. I used to be able to do that, like no problem. But boy, like yeah,
But
I can't do that.
that's what started the death of the midnight releases, though. I remember when they only showed like one showing on Thursday, and then like before the midnight release, you would have like one showing around like 8, 9 o'clock. Then next thing you know, they're like, let's just open it up all day. Now my tickets for Deadpool and Wolverine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday.
Same.
So
Yep. 3 o'clock.
yep.
Yeah, I think I got a 7 o'clock one, or it might be 4. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm going that Thursday. Zach Mills said he's with Ace. Never want to hear Scuttlebutt again. I don't remember that. That was I think I turned my I think I turned my hearing off at that point in the movie.
Or maybe it
Like
was
when
so
they started
bad.
rapping.
Maybe it was so bad you blocked it out of your memory.
Yes, I think I did. Like I really think I did. I remember them starting to rap, and I just remember looking at my kids, and they looked like they were enjoying it because it was something different. It was just different sonics, and it was just like this is not good. And everybody loves Lin-Manuel Miranda, but that's too much. That was too much for me.
My man,
But
like Lin-Manuel, gotta get a different flow. I will say that. He got one flow.
He sticks to what works, though.
Yeah.
yeah, people pay for him to do this stuff. Like
Yeah.
they pay him good money too. Let's see. Ryan Lane says Aquafina is a good actress, but her performance in Little Mermaid was painfully annoying. I think most of her performances are painfully annoying. I think she can act when she wants to. When she's not doing the I don't want to call it the black scent, but it's the black scent. When she's not doing that,
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm okay with her.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
everything
her in
else,
Shang-Chi.
she was
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that was a good movie. She
Yeah,
was great.
and,
I love
yeah,
that
because like they fit well together. And the thing about it is, the thing I loved about her and Shang-Chi, they didn't force the love narrative because they could have. Oh, these best friends, and then you force them to be in love. No, it's cool if they're just friends. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. But she was good in that movie.
Yeah, I agree. Also, if you want to see great Aquafina, The Farewell is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and she's the lead in it. And a movie from not A24, but a movie from Apple TV Plus called Swan Song. With
Hmm.
she stars alongside Mahershala Ali. She is great in that movie, and
I love
so is
Mahershala
he.
Ali.
Yeah, so those are two
I did
great
not know she was in
Aquafina
that
movies.
movie.
Yep.
Okay, I just learned that. I really have to watch Swan Song. I've been saying I'm gonna watch it, and it's been on my
Swan
list
Song is
forever.
great.
Yeah,
Swan
but I
Song should have been nominated for an Emmy, or not
yeah.
Emmy, an Oscar.
Yeah, but I agree with T though. When they're trying to push her to be Blasian, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like the black Asian is kind of when it's annoying. Like it's just like, bro, like come on.
it
Like
feels
when she's,
insulting.
yeah, it does absolutely. Like when she's rapping and stuff like that. Like it's cool. I get it. Everybody does it, but it's just like it's not believable, and it's really like it really makes me want to turn it off.
Yeah,
For sure. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of her. And like some of the comments she made, kind of doubling down on it, just kind of turned me off. But she's when she gets the chance to act, when like she's properly directed, and they don't have her being a character, like she was in Crazy Rich Asians. That
hmm
was her whole character in that movie. While I liked the movie, I just didn't like her role. But yeah, when she gets a chance to do something outside of her wheelhouse or outside of that portion of her stand-up routine, she's pretty good.
yeah.
But I just
Yeah.
can't get. I find it hard to get past that.
Yeah, she
I
wasn't
hear you.
bad in
Uh,
Renfield. She wasn't bad in Renfield. She wasn't the
no,
reason
she
why
wasn't.
that movie was. She wasn't terrible.
I
She
forgot she
was
was in
one.
Renfield.
Yeah,
She was
that's what I'm
one of the
saying. The
reasons why
fact
I
that
was palatable.
yeah, the fact that you forgot she was in it means that she wasn't terrible in it because you definitely would have remembered if she was bad. So
Sure, sure.
Facts. So let's see. Cosmic Broadcast says Aquafina song "A Little Mermaid" made me want to run a cheese grater across my ears. Just wasn't a good fit. That is painful, and
Ouch.
that's
it's
like
okay. It's not just that. It's not like it seems like we're picking on Aquafina. Disney has this thing with the live actions where it's like, let's make original songs. It was also terrible with Beyonce and Lion King. So I'm not going to
Yo,
sit here.
Lion King is so bad.
I'm not going to act like it was just Aquafina scuttlebutt.
Yeah,
The line, how they added, stop adding songs. Like, stop, because I get it. Beyonce's a huge star. You're going to make sure you're getting your money's worth from her. But that was terrible. And they even went and added her, they added Nala an unnecessary plot line that they didn't even have in the movie, original movie. And I'm just like, come on, man.
that
Stop
movie is awful.
acquiescing towards the stars and more towards the movie.
Yeah. I will say this though:
good
the
point.
Lion King album that Beyonce made from that movie
Hmm.
was amazing. The song she did during the movie was whatever. It's not good. It's not that it's not good. It's just not a good fit. But that
Yeah.
album, that soundtrack she did was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, stop
I don't
acquiescing to the
remember
stars.
her song in Lion King. I don't remember a lot about the Lion King, even though my son has watched that movie probably 500 million times. I don't remember much about the movie because once again, I turn my brain off when he's watching it because I have to be next to him while he watches it sometimes. But like most of the time, I'm playing on my phone,
I have never
which
seen
is
so many talented people be so bad at one time.
Absolutely. And I in the theater, I'm sitting there, I'm looking around, and I'm like, am I the only one that's not enjoying this? I'm like, I can't be. And then at one time, one of my friends looks over and says, "This is terrible." I was like, right? I was
Yeah,
like, bro, this
yeah,
is so bad.
yeah.
And the moment that they lost, well, they lost me in the beginning, but the moment that I was ready to walk out was they didn't even do my favorite scene with Pumbaa, and by they called me Mr. P. I'm just like, they didn't do that. Instead, they had
Yeah.
Seth Rogen talking about, "I hate bullies." I'm like, oh, I'm leaving. This sucks. Never watching this again.
Nope.
Zach. I don't. I definitely didn't go see that in the theater. That was once again pre before I had kids old enough to take them to the theater. But I did watch it on
Yeah.
streaming, and I just it was okay. And once again, my son has watched it so many times; he loves it.
I definitely saw it in
So
the theater
I do,
because
I
Lion King's
don't
my
knock
favorite
it.
movie, the
Nah, it's
I
original.
get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just one of those movies. It's hard to have those like unlike Planet of the Apes, which just came out, how you're able to feel the way they're emoting on screen. You couldn't get that with that movie. Like, and then
Correct.
you couldn't go so over the top to make it ridiculous. Like they're not going to be, standing on top of animals singing "I just can't wait to be king" on
Hmm
a pyramid of animals, because then it would have been too over the top. But that's one of those movies that shouldn't have been anything but animation.
Correct.
I completely get it. But got to make that money, man. Those movies print money. That movie made a ton of money.
Yep.
So I don't. I understand why they did it. I don't agree with it. Just like you, it should have stayed animation. Uh, moving on to the next comment. Zach Mills says, "Deadpool and Wolverine has me in game levels of hype."
As it
Very
should.
true. Like it definitely does. It's gonna bring that old feeling back. I hope. And if it
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah.
I mean, we'll still have content to put out there
It,
and kind of
it,
bash it for that.
is there anything that Deadpool and Wolverine could do that would disappoint you guys?
No, not me. I don't have like Multiverse of Madness changed the way I watch movies because I don't go into movies now expecting anything. Like I don't like going there like they better do this because like people went into there thinking that they were like they had to do certain things, and when they didn't do those things, they were disappointed. So I don't go into any movies like that. So nothing they do other than it just not being funny, which I doubt that. Like I
Yeah.
seriously doubt it's not going to be funny. If it came in and it was dry, that would disappoint me. But that's really it.
Yeah. I think for me, the one thing or two things that they could do to make me not enjoy this movie is for our two leads to not be together for the majority of the film,
Oh yeah, that would piss me off.
or for Wolverine to not show up until like midway through the film. I'm like,
That's
yo,
true.
like I came here for the duo, you know what I mean? And that was, I mean, I'm not going to fully go into it, but that was one of the things that I didn't like about Furiosa is that Anya Taylor Joy doesn't show up until like it feels like halfway through the movie. It's like, oh, what am I doing
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, I
I'm
agree with
gonna.
that. Those are good points. Like you got to brisk through the first setup. Obviously, we got to check up on what Wade's been doing, and then obviously
Yeah.
TVA is going to come into it, but it needs to get into it immediately.
Yeah.
But I agree. I just can't see them doing that though. But then if they did, it would make me mad. Like Wolverine, Deadpool, all of a sudden they don't need once they're on camera together, they don't need to split. Like don't have them go on two separate adventures. You want to have them fight guys on different sides of the sure. That's
Yeah.
fine. And I want to
Yeah.
see some combo moves. That's what I need to see too.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
yep.
For sure. I just I'm not gonna say this movie can't disappoint, but I just don't see I don't see it disappointing. Zach Mills said I think No Way Home was the last time I was this excited for a movie. Complete like I just was a lot more excited for Multiverse of Madness because of how good No Way Home was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
But
like it just it,
yeah,
it it was my own fault. Like
no,
I
but
blame myself for how bad.
no, it wasn't your fault. No, it really wasn't your fault. It was the studio's fault because like okay, they gave us what we wanted with imagine No Way Home with no Toby and Andrew. That's kind of what Multiverse of Madness kind of did. The thing that got me was the executives came out and said, "This is going to be the best movie since Endgame. This is going to have cameo levels of that rival Endgame and Infinity War. Hold on to your seats." And we're still waiting. The studios came out and said that. They got our expectations up. We didn't do it by ourselves.
I mean, the studios also said that The Flash was the greatest superhero movie ever made.
Oh yeah, I was in.
They
Studios,
I was in
did.
there, bro. I got early access tickets to Flash. I was in there. The guy was like, "You're gonna be blown away by this." I walked out like, "Bro, you were so wrong. This movie was shit."
you're a liar. So
Yeah.
you are a liar.
Yep.
But Collect the Movie Man says, have you guys seen the video that John Campea did about the potential cameos that could appear in Deadpool and Wolverine? It was about a 54-minute. I'm not gonna lie, I've never watched any of John Campea's videos. I've heard the name, but I've never watched any of his videos. I've heard
Yeah.
some negative things about his channel, and I just never
When I
got a chance to watch any of this stuff.
when I get this close to the movie, I'm not actively
Same.
seeking out any theories. I don't want to
Same.
hear no, especially from people who are in the know, because they pass off truth as theory when they know what's going to happen, and I don't want nothing to do with it.
Same. Yeah, clickbait at the end of the day. Like, yeah, I'm good. When it comes, like Kenny said, when we get this close, I'm good. I'm trying to stay away. So,
Yeah. I
For
hate
sure.
the thumbnails that are like, "Will Beast show up in this movie?" And then they have a blurred out picture of Beast. And it's like, there's Beast, right? Like you're telling me that Beast is in this movie. Like, stop playing with me. So yeah, I'll be right back because my phone's about to die. I gotta find a charger that works. I'll be right back.
Okay, I could dig it. All right, and Zach Mills said if Deadpool and Wolverine underwhelms, MCU's in big trouble or
I
huge
agree.
trouble. They need this to work, and I believe it will. Yes, like if this movie doesn't do well, I think the MCU as we know it is over. Like I think they're
Effectively.
gonna like they're gonna stop what they're doing and try to retool everything to course correct a ship. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't want to live in that world. Like I have to assume that this movie is gonna do well. You're right. If this movie does not do well, and like unfortunately for them, well is $1 billion. I don't know if it's gonna hit 1 billion. That's a great question, whether it will or not. But like that's what they consider great,
Well, yeah,
solid for this movie is to hit 1 billion. That's hard to do in this day and age. Not saying it's impossible because chances are Despicable Me 4 is gonna hit $1 billion. Like, so it's not impossible, but it's an R-rated film. Um, I I think it will. Like, I
yeah.
think it will. I
I'm
don't think it's gonna fail.
I'm in the boat of saying it might touch two. Like you've heard me say it before. I
Yes.
get that it's rated R, but I just think that because this is going to be so huge, and it's because, like I said, it's the only MCU movie that's coming out. If it nails it, especially if it nails it, it's going to be very rewatchable. Dude, I saw Endgame and No Way Home 10 times in the theater. If I don't, you think I won't go see this multiple times? Like I will. I will just wake up like the feeling of this is how I think it would be a successful movie to me, right? When I go watch it Thursday twice, do the review, and then I'm sitting there Friday, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. I need to go see the movie again. Like because you're itching to want to go see it again. Like I think it will bring that aspect to it. And like you said, it needs to do well to save the Marvel universe. And if any movie can save it, this could be the movie based on the ability for Deadpool to break fourth walls and correct things that weren't, fixed, and even, jokingly say things, what I'm saying, that we've seen, like I would love to see a wise crack on the, the Eternals, what I'm saying, like shit like that, what I'm saying, like the statue, the giant robot that's still there, what I'm saying, just it has an opportunity is what I'm saying. So I'm excited and I can't wait for this.
For sure, for sure. And Collect the Movie Man says if this movie fails, Marvel might be all very true.
That's true.
Uh, let's see. Kelly Corbett, Kells, one of my favorite humans on this planet. Ryan Reynolds is always so much fun. The movie should definitely bump up Marvel stock and good feelings right now. I just showed the voices to my daughter and we had a blast. I've never seen the voices. I've only seen like the thumbnail for that movie, but I've never watched it. And my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie. I'm a big rom com guys. Don't judge me, but definitely maybe is one of my favorite rom coms of all time. Ryan Reynolds is just peak Ryan Reynolds, and Isla Fisher just looks great in that movie. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds is going to give you what he gives you, and it's always entertaining to me.
Yeah, it
I don't
is.
get tired of him. I don't get tired of Chris Pratt. Like people say, "Oh, I'm tired of Chris Pratt." Like he's fine to me. Ryan Reynolds is fine to me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Especially in this role, it seems like Ryan, like I said, Ryan Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. So,
yes. Other than in Origins of Wolverine,
well,
like
they're gonna crack. They're cracking on that. That joke is coming. They
that joke,
have to.
it just writes itself, man. The whole
Ex-
like it just
Even though
does
they did it in Deadpool 2, they still have to rehash it here. You have
for
to give us a
sure.
continuation of that scene. Like, imagine, like, because obviously we saw him shoot the old Deadpool. Imagine all of a sudden, like, Wolverine chases him, and then it becomes a whole nother scene where it's like, wow, that was incredible. Like, good way to play off that.
For sure. Nanette's Blood Rose Horror Nightmare. Thank you so much for showing up. She was saying, hey to everyone. Thank you so much for showing up, Nanette. Definitely appreciate you being in the live stream. We got Max Coverage TV.
That's my guy
Uh,
right there. What's up,
I would
Max?
say, Ace, you guys do the weekly Yankees wrap up every Sunday. It is
Yep.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Every Sunday, you guys do the weekly Yankees wrap up. Thank you so much for being in the live stream, Max Coverage TV. What up, fellas? Go Yankees! Big time Yankees fan. That's why I truly love the Yankees content you guys give me. The guy
Appreciate it.
living out in Texas, I get to listen to fantastic calling of the game, by the way. Like that's not easy
Thanks.
to do. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think people like it's understated. People think because you sit in your living room and like, oh, I could do this better than no, it's not that easy. It's not that
Take
simple. And you
skill.
do a really good job
Appreciate that. Thank you.
with the game calling, and that keeps your viewers coming to your channel. And one of the reasons
My
why I
bad.
love listening to your calls of the game. It's not an old stiff shirt 80-year-old guy. Even though no shade, no shade to some of the Yankee legends who called the Yankees games. But you got, a new generation getting to listen to young voices voice the Yankees game, and you get to actually interact. That's what I love the most. Is as you're watching the game, you get to hear people. Not only hear people call the game, but you get to interact with them. You don't get to do that with Marv Albert. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
get to
Oh
talk to him
yeah.
about the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Uh,
think that fully, not to dive too much into this. Sports are moving to YouTube. Like it's going to get to that point. Like because it's just people want to be able to contact you. They want to be able to talk to you. They want to be able to
Right.
relate to you. Like you said, they can't do that with Marv Albert. They can't do that with Michael K. All that stuff, but they can do that with us.
For sure, for sure. So definitely, if you haven't subscribed, like once again, I mean, these guys, I am the low man on the totem pole when it comes to this YouTube thing, but the co-hosts on this show, these guys have fantastic channels, and that's why I asked them to be here. Fantastic voices,
Appreciate you.
different voices, different unique takes on things, and that's what I love about the movie tube space is because we all have different opinions, right? I enjoy Furiosa. Kenny didn't have a great time with the movie, but we still can talk about, hey, this is what I enjoyed, this is what I didn't
Yep.
enjoy. And that's what really brings us together is having those conversations. And I really
Yeah.
love it. And I really do appreciate everyone for
Absolutely.
being here. And I appreciate you guys for being here. And I'll give you
Nah,
guys
man,
a
I'm honored.
chance at the
Appreciate you for
end
having us. Thank you.
Yeah, for
for
sure,
sure.
100%.
And I know we've been doing this for a while. So I want to kind of speed through these comments and get to August because I know you guys have other engagements that you have to jump on. So Collect the Movie Man, one of the favorite movies with Awkwafina is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ring. Underrated movie. I
Very
feel like that
underrated
movie
movie.
does not get its just due. Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Where do I have it?
Um,
I'm gonna look up my letterbox real quick. So I know it's in my top 10, and I think it's
Oh,
close to top 5.
for me, it's up there. It's one of the best ones since Phase 3, in my opinion. Like a
yeah,
lot of people are like Phase 4 shit. I'm like, Shang-Chi wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the best martial art dude, some of the best fight scenes we've ever seen in the MCU because it's a martial arts film. You know what I'm saying? They did their justice with it. It's very
Yes.
rewatchable. And, like the whole entire third act, I didn't see coming because it
Yeah.
wasn't
Same.
something that you thought was going to be advertised. All of a sudden, you go into the scene with the dragon and it's just like, wow, like I didn't expect that. And this whole movie was just very well done.
I have
for
Shang-Chi
sure.
number 7
Mm.
in my MCU rankings. Now I just looked and I'm like, it needs to move back a little bit, but because every time I look at my MCU list or any ranking list, I'm like, what was I thinking? Because your emotions change with it all the time.
Of
But
course.
Correct.
yeah, I got it top 10 at the least.
Same.
So
For
yeah,
sure.
it's great.
I,
And
Yeah.
Wen
I,
Wu is a great antagonist, villain,
Yep.
whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Wen Wu is awesome.
Yep. His sister too was amazing in it as well.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah, she's
everything
great.
everything about that movie was really good. I haven't done my full ranking, but it's gonna be towards the top. But it's so many good MCU movies. Like when you get to the good, it gets to the good.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
the top 5 and the top 10 is very hard. Like at any just on your mood, you could change some things. Like damn, do I want to put Black Panther here? Do I want to put Shang-Chi here? Like certain movies sit with you well. Like even though it's probably the worst of the Avengers movies, Age of Ultron sits well with me. You know what I'm
Age
saying?
of
I
Ultron
think
is great.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's very underrated, and it's probably one of my most watched MCU films because it used to come on TV all the time,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
I love watching that party scene, like little stuff like that appeases me as a fan. You don't have to do everything so intricate. Give us a party scene. I want to see what my superheroes look like when they're just chilling, when they let their hair down. You know what I'm saying? I
Yep.
love that scene.
That's a great. That is one of Marvel's best scenes. Was that party scene trying to pick up the hammer? I thought that was fantastic.
And then they
Yeah.
I think
foreshadowed it later on in Endgame. It came back full circle with that whole little, you know, nudging the hammer and seeing Chris Hemsworth's face drop when
yeah. Yes.
yep.
Great. Great. Let's see. We got max coverage. Do you think Deadpool and Wolverine will top Spider-Man No Way Home in the box office opening weekend? I don't like. I'm not a big box office fan. I know that made a boatload of money. I want to say it made like close to 300 million or something. Like that sounds ridiculous. Maybe worldwide, I think it might have made close to 200, maybe
Yeah.
even 300.
I
Uh,
I think so. Is because No Way Home wasn't released in China.
ah,
So
Oh, is that right?
that's a big thing. Like No Way Home, if it was released in China, probably could have came close to breaking Avatar, but we know James Cameron would have just re-released Avatar again to get that top spot because he's
Yeah.
petty as shit. He
Yo,
hates the MCU.
yeah,
He's an asshole. He's an
yeah.
ass.
He's the worst sometimes.
Like, yeah, Endgame was on top for all of a month, and then James Cameron just wakes up and says, I want to re-release Avatar, which nobody wanted, and he put his own money into it. But I do think because of how big this movie is, it's the only MCU film, and then on top of that, it's gonna get released in China as well. It should do some really good numbers.
So Zach Mill said it did 210 million. Its opening weekend domestically, it did 210. So that's just domestic. I can see, like, so AMC came out and said pre-release they sold 9 million. That's just AMC. They said they sold 9 million in pre-release. I could definitely see it creeping close to that, but I mean that's worldwide. I think it'll definitely reach that. It'll probably break that, but
Originally, I wanted to say no because Spider-Man is a different level of famous,
yes,
quote unquote.
Mhm.
But
That's
Yeah.
true.
for one, we were just coming out of the pandemic. So a lot of people still didn't go to the theaters. Even though it made as much money as it made, it wasn't all the people who would have went pre-pandemic. And for two, like you mentioned, the it wasn't released in China, which I didn't even remember. So I'm glad that you said that. So those are two major factors that are going to help Deadpool surpass No Way Home if it does.
I hope it does. I really hope that the MCU course corrects.
Yeah.
Not that it really needs it, because like those movies still make money. They just don't make $1 billion. I feel like that doesn't need to be understated. Like just because you don't like a movie, just because it doesn't make $1 billion, like of course I'm gonna bring up the Marvels. That to me is still a success. Like I mean, of course it didn't make as much as they wanted to, and I don't. I it might have lost them. I read somewhere it lost them like 200 million. I don't think that to be true. But like success should not be predicated on making $1 billion because that's just unrealistic. But for Marvel, I get it. They've made so much in the past, but like I don't think we should gauge the success of a movie on whether it makes $1 billion because outside factors factor into that more than anything. And hopefully there's no like crazy controversies right before it comes out
Yeah.
that would hinder it because that could happen. Like I've gone on record of saying this. A lot of
Okay.
female-led movies, there's this controversy that comes out like a week or two before it comes out, and that derails, everything that they've tried to do with the movie. And then you got the people, the anti-woke people, as I like to call them,
Yep.
who then say that they don't want to watch the movie because of something minute that just doesn't really affect the quality of the movie. But I don't want to go on my anti-woke rant. I'm
Yeah.
just going to continue with a few more of these comments
Yeah,
because we got a few more. Zach Mills says, hold on one second. I skipped over.
we got to that one.
All right. Aquafina Quiz Lady on Disney Plus was actually pretty funny by Zach Mill. I have that on my watch list. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I've heard people
Let's
like that movie. I need to see it.
Nanette said Ryan Reynolds is one of my favorite actors, and Wolverine is one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe. So she's looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Makes
You
sense.
are not alone.
Yep.
Nanette also subbed to the Ace Avenue.
And appreciate you.
Nice.
For sure. Definitely, we want to bring all our movie tubers together. We all bring out really good quality content. Some more than others. You guys way more than me. You guys
You'll
bring
get
You
some
gotta
really
stop
You'll
good
with
get
content.
that.
Yeah, dude, you'll get there.
Yeah, man.
But
You're doing well. I mean,
Yeah,
this
you're doing
stream
really
is
well.
awesome, dude.
Exactly. I like it. I like it. To the next comment, as far as Ryan Reynolds is one of her favorites and Wolverine and Deadpool favorite characters, this is what's going to carry this movie. Characters. Marvel needs to get back to that. Like, you don't want to get into your woke statement, stuff like that. Marvel needs to focus more on characters again and stop trying to be so diverse. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's kind of killing the box office when it comes to them. Like this movie should do well in the box office. Like you said, it's because the big ones do, and this is going to be one of them. But character focus needs to be the main focus again. And you have two characters that on the box office have done well. Deadpool's done well, and so is Wolverine. You have two of these actors that have done well as well. So the pieces are in place for this to be successful. So I think it's going to be.
For sure. I completely agree with that. And on that note, we're just going to go ahead because Nanette said, "You're welcome to the Ace." And he said, "Thank you to Nanette definitely for subscribing. We're bringing YouTubers together and we're
Hmm.
bringing subscribers to new YouTubers. Everybody getting to see new, fresh faces. And that's always exciting. And then we come to August, which I think is going to bring us back down to reality because I can't say that I'm really excited. I'm more excited about June than I am August. There are not a lot of movies in August that I'm looking forward to. But we'll start with August 2nd. We got Harold and the Purple Crayon, Cuckoo, and Kneecap. And I don't know why I put Kneecap up there. That's like a niche. Apparently,
Hmm.
there's an Irish rap group that is starring in this movie.
Okay.
And yeah, but it's a wide release, so I'll put it up there. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for Cuckoo. I've seen the previews. I don't know if you guys seen the previews for Cuckoo.
I
Looks
have.
very, very unique. It looks very obscure. It looks like an A24 film, but I don't think it's an A24 film.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Just based on the trailers alone, it looks like you said an A24 film. Looks like it's weird. Looks like it's got some creepiness factor to it, and like you're stuck in like I think a hospital, and just weird shit is going down. You got me. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. August looks. I think I'm gonna just see Deadpool Wolverine a bunch more. 'Cause outside of the Crow, which I just watched the trailer to that again, I am excited for that one. Like outside of
Yep.
that, the other ones I can kind of take it or leave it. But I'm all for everything that Bill Skarsgård does. He's one of my favorite actors with Pennywise. Saying one of my favorite horror villains. So I'm all for that. Borderlands, not so much. But yeah, August will kind of bring you down a little bit. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I could not care any less about Harold and Purple Crayon. Cuckoo, I'm excited for. Borderlands, I'm cautiously like I'm not excited, interested. I'm
cautiously.
interested in Borderlands. I've never played the game, and even though I haven't played the game, I saw like the character that Kevin Hart is supposed to be playing. I'm like, that doesn't look like that guy at all. Um, and I don't know what the Fire Inside is, or it ends with us. Trap, I'm looking forward to because I'm always whether or not a Night Shyamalan movies turn out to be good, I'm still going to look forward to it
Or it's
because
compelling.
it's a
Yeah.
50-50 chance right with him, right? Um, Alien Romulus, I'm super excited for. I've been watching the Alien movies very recently. I watched the first one and the second one, I think last month. Which funny thing, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I saw throughout my childhood, my teenage years, and my adulthood a bunch of scenes from the first two Alien movies,
Hmm.
and that to me in my mind meant I thought I saw them, and I went to a re-release of the first one. I was like, I have never seen this movie before, and then I
Yeah.
watched the second one. I was like, I have never seen this movie before. So I need to see Alien 3, which is a movie I know I've never seen before, not like I thought I saw. Actually, the only Alien movie I had ever seen, besides Alien vs Predator, like later on in life, growing up, was Alien Resurrection, which is the fourth one,
Mm.
because my dad had it on VHS, and we ran that thing into the ground. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the aliens they're swimming in that one. There's a guy with dreads who's fighting. I'm like, yo, this is great. Didn't even know the other aliens existed until later on in my teenage years. So, yeah, that was my experience with them, and I had thought I saw the other two. So I'm really looking forward to Alien Romulus because it looks like it's going back to formula.
Yeah.
So Resurrection was the worst one of the bunch. So if you love
Hmm.
that, then
That's what that's the ones
you
people said.
definitely
Yeah.
love Aliens is iconic. Like Alien, I will be totally transparent. I've never watched Alien. That
Mm-hmm.
was a little before my time. And then everybody kept saying Aliens is the one to watch. I watched Aliens as a kid and it
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me. Like Aliens as a kid is fucking scary. It's so dark, it's dank. Like the ship looks like it's like 2 seconds away from crashing because it
Mm-hmm.
does. It looks like it has no power because everything is just dark. It's just
Yep.
the film is surrounded in darkness, and then you have these scary ass aliens, right? And they play the game with a knife, where like the android
Mm-hmm.
does the knife thing, which is one of my
A great
favorite scenes
scene.
in any movie
Yeah.
ever. But it just Alien Resurrection was everything that wasn't Aliens. Like Aliens is an iconic movie. I've never seen Alien. I've been told that I don't need to go back and watch it because Aliens did everything that Alien did, but better.
I watched Alien
So
and Aliens. I like Alien a lot. I like Aliens a lot too. But I like Alien a lot for that. There's just one alien in that one, and it's the first time that they're running into it, and it's great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, yeah, and the aliens, man, they are like watching those movies. I grew a greater appreciation for them because they are literally impossible to kill without getting yourself killed. Because their acid blood makes the whole situation
Oh
like
yeah.
impossible. You shoot it, you're gonna get ricochet with acid blood, and that acid burns through ship floors. Like it was crazy. So I really enjoyed those movies.
Yep.
Yeah, so Alien, I would say check it out.
Yeah. I never big when it comes to the Alien movies. I was never really big into them. Kind of started trying to when Alien vs Predator came out. I was more on the Predator side. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I love the
same.
Predator movies more than the Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
So those are kind of where I stood on them. And then so I could kind of take it or leave it at this point with those movies. But like you had said earlier, Kenny, it's like you think that you had watched some certain things because you know certain scenes, like Sigourney Weaver. It's like, oh, I never seen her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I know who that is because of these movies. You know what I'm saying? So you think you definitely know them. But when it comes to Alien vs Predator, I can kind of take it or leave that one. You had said something about Borderlands. I'm kind of skeptical when it comes to video game movies. You can kind of they're either hit or miss. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like in my opinion, that one's kind of I was never really into the game. I'm sure if I played the game, I would be way more excited about watching the movie and then Easter eggs galore and stuff like that. But realistically, the only one that I'm actually, like I said, looking forward to is The Crow.
Mm.
hmm,
That
Yeah.
looks really good.
that is interesting. Uh, I am not looking forward to The Crow as much as everyone else. Now, after Boy Kills World, I will say Bill Skarsgård's stock, even though he's fantastic in everything he's in. But after Boys Kills World, I'm like, all right, now I want to see The Crow. I was actively trying to avoid The Crow,
Hmm.
because I like if Kelly's still in here, we have this conversation about The Crow. She's a big Brandon Lee fan. She's a like she loves the aesthetic of the original one, and this one just looks totally different. Um, and I'm a big fan of the Brandon Lee original. I didn't like any of the direct to DVD sequels; they were all terrible. Um, but yeah, like I am not that excited for that. I'm excited more for Trap than I am for really any other movie this month, because like you said, I made this joke on my podcast a long time about M Night Shyamalan. Whoever his trailer makers are, they deserve every award in the world because they he all his movies have fantastic trailers. Like his trailers make you want to go see the movie. Then when you go see the movie, like I said, it's 50-50 that you're gonna get either a great movie or a terrible movie. It's no in
Mm.
between with his movies. Like there's no, oh man, you know what? That was a solid movie. It's either it's really, really good or
Yeah.
it's really, really bad.
Great marketing.
With Trapped, I don't like the way the trailer sets it up. Like even if there's a twist, I think the twist could only add on to the suspense that like because he does suspense really way that movie set up, I feel like it's right in his bag.
Your mic is cutting out a
Um,
little bit.
okay, is it back now?
It's
Yeah.
probably
I
just
think it's I
it
think it's
sounds
the
like
noise cancellation.
yeah, it sounds like a connection issue. It probably you Streamyard does that from time to time.
Yep.
Okay. All right, but yeah, like I'm a like Josh Hartnett is having his second coming. I feel like he is now coming back to Hollywood and he's doing really good stuff. That episode of Black Mirror is one of the best episodes of Beyond the Sea. I think that's what it's called. One of the best episodes of TV. If you haven't seen it, go watch Beyond the Sea, Black Mirror season 5. Uh, Aaron Paul, Josh Hartnett, great. Just I mean, like one of it's a movie. It's about an hour 20 minutes, and it's phenomenal. Josh Hartnett definitely is back, so I'm looking forward to that portion of it. And yeah, it just looks like a good time. Blink Twice. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailers for Blink Twice. That
No,
looks
I haven't.
insane.
Mm-mm.
Like you guys have to like it stars Channing Tatum. Zoe Kravitz directs that movie. It's
Nice.
her directorial debut as Ali Sawat. I think that's her name. And it's William Defoe. It's a stacked cast. Check out that I wanted to do previews, but I don't want to mess up what we got here by trying to throw some previews up there. But don't blink. I think that that's going to be a really like it's going to be a solid movie. I don't think it's going to make a lot of money in the box office because I don't think a lot of people know about it. But I think it's going to be a good time at the theater. The Fire Inside is a story about Clarissa Shields. It's a biopic. I'm not really looking forward to that. Um,
Mm.
it ends with us. I think that's a romantic drama. And then we got Horizon, American Saga. I've already said what I thought about, Yellowstone, Kevin Costner. Though it's like a American frontier type movie,
Mhm.
and those are just they don't involve black people. And not
Yeah.
saying every movie I watched has to involve black people, but that was not a good time for us. So I'm not in a rush to go see that in the theater.
I feel that.
Slingshot, I know nothing about, but it's a horror movie. Um, and there's two more movies that I didn't get to put on this list that close out August on the 30th. There's a Ronald Reagan biopic that's coming out,
Wild.
and it
Yeah.
it
That is
just
wild.
makes me. It is extremely wild. I remember I had this lieutenant. I was driving to a class with him, and for some reason, Ronald Reagan came up in a conversation. He was like, Ronald Reagan is one of the greatest presidents ever. And I was like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, I don't understand why you don't like Ronald Reagan. I was like, sir, with all due respect, like it's because you're not black. Like living in the 80s as a black person, you
Yep.
get a total different, like Ronald Reagan means a lot of different things to different people. And what he like urban society, urban
Mm-hmm.
culture, the lower class, like
Hmm.
trickle down trickle down economics did not trickle down to us. That's what
At all.
that's what I was saying. So
It
like
never trickled.
yeah,
There was
yeah,
never a trickle.
Yeah.
I just like the thought of him at like of course he's a president, so there's a good chance like George Bush had a biopic. I didn't watch that one either. Um,
Hmm.
but but this one is starring Dennis Quaid, is Ronald Reagan. That's coming out, and there is another horror movie. They Listen, that's starring John Cho, that's coming out at the end of August. And I think that's a Bloomhouse. That's a Bloomhouse horror. So Bloomhouse usually does really good horror. John
Yeah.
Cho
Oh yeah, they do. Blumhouse is
underrated.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Cho is underrated, right? So I'm not saying that I'm gonna jump. I haven't seen a trailer for it, but a lot of the people who've seen like the movie at different horror festivals says pretty good.
Yeah. Um,
Uh, Go ahead.
there is one movie I want to talk about. It's kind of in the beginning of September, but it's still kind of summertime. You know what I'm saying? Beetlejuice 2, dude. I'm excited for that shit. For real,
Same.
for real.
Same.
Like I just saw, obviously they just dropped the full trailer. Yeah, see? They just dropped the
Uh,
full trailer. And that looks amazing, dude. Like Jenna Ortega, she's hot right now.
Hmm.
To bring back the old cast, you know what I'm saying? Michael Keaton is gonna be amazing. William Defoe's in it. So it's just like, bro, what
Willem
more can you
Dafoe's
ask
having
for?
himself a little run right now.
He is. He's a resurgence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
he is.
sure.
He's in a lot of movies this summer. And you know what? It's like he's in a lot of movies, but not as like the big sell. So he's just
Right.
like he's like sprinkles on top. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So yeah, I'm excited for Beetlejuice. Like I said, it's want to throw that in there because I know it's early. It's like literally going to be towards the end of summer.
Yes, yeah. So I did it because Labor is from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Labor Day is the 2nd of
Yeah,
September.
first week of September.
And yeah, and Beetlejuice comes out on the 6th. I had a whole September thing, but I don't think we have enough time for that. But yes, Beetlejuice is definitely it's gonna be a good time. I'm not a huge fan of the original Beetlejuice. I think over time it's
Really?
grown on me more.
Hmm.
Yes, I like Beetlejuice, the original Beetlejuice. All of my cousins loved Beetlejuice. Like they just loved it. And I just didn't have that same. It was weird. Like, and it's Tim Burton, right? It's Tim Burton at his
Tim-
finest.
Mhm.
and I just didn't get it. Like Beetlejuice came out when I was young. Like I was a kid watching Beetlejuice, and I just didn't get it. I think over time I probably would like it a lot more as an adult. So I'm gonna definitely watch that before Beetlejuice comes out. It has a lot of iconic moments in it. Um, but yeah, it just wasn't something like, I mean, when I say they loved it, they watched it constantly. So it drove me insane how much they watched it and how much they loved it. And like I just never had that same passion for it.
Yeah,
And I
definitely a
think it's
classic.
because
I
they
get
watched
that.
it so much.
Yeah, definitely a classic. And at this point in time, Jenna Ortega is becoming Tim Burton's new muse. You know what I'm saying? She's becoming like the female Johnny Depp. Like they just work so well together
I
in
agree.
everything that they do. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, her star is on the rise right now. And you know what I'm saying, to bring back Winona Ryder as well and the old cast and stuff like that. It's just like it's gonna be really good, and I can't wait to see it.
So I found out
Likewise.
last night. I think it was either yesterday or day before yesterday. I think Zach Milne's channel, or it might have been your stream last night, Kenny. That Monica Bellucci and Tim Burton are a thing, and Monica Bellucci is an older. She was in the Matrix, and she's fine, and Tim Burton
Monica
is not.
Bellucci.
Monica, I think that's her name. Yeah, Bellucci. She's an Italian actress.
Oh yeah.
She like, but they're a thing, and that just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know why. She's in the film, and
Yeah, I'm
she's in
looking
her
at her now.
60s, and she's a very attractive older woman. And uh, Tim Burton looks like Bob Dylan's cracked out brother. Like Tim
Oh
Burton,
my
like
god.
like I saw a picture of Tim Burton. I was like, like he just looked like a genius, but he looks like a
Yeah.
genius
I'm looking at Tim Burton right now, and he looks
uh,
like a character from one of his movies.
yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, but
But look,
he's so good though.
Yeah,
he
he is.
is, he
He's
is.
really like leans into the weird factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no knock on Tim Burton. He's just not like
Yeah.
he just like the thought of her being with him just it makes me laugh.
Yeah. And he's
But
made
let's
some
go
classics, man.
for sure, for sure.
Classics.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's get into a few of these comments before we wrap this up. August looks kind of lame on the surface. Aliens is definitely number one for the month. I definitely understand that. Screens and reviews. Thank you so much for showing up. I want to shout out Screens Ends. I did a live stream at the beginning of the year. He was one of the 3 people that showed up to that live stream, and I will never forget that. Screens Ends. Thank you so much for coming in. Were you more excited for 2024 movie year or the 2023 movie year? 2024 is pretty stacked. We had spoke about that a little bit earlier in the stream. I think they're like on equal footing. I don't really think one year is bigger than the other, but these guys brought some receipts because they're right. They brought a lot of good points up with the movies that they mentioned and how great 2023 was as far as movie going. But I
Yeah.
really think that 2024 has some good movies as well. Like
I give it
there are a
There's some
lot of
great movies
movies.
this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it to 23 though. I mean,
Yeah, same.
24 might have the biggest of Deadpool being Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm gonna say I'll give it to 23.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, like you said, 2024, Love Lies Bleeding, I absolutely love. Like there's a few. Doom, obviously, Challengers, I loved. Monkey Man, Planet of the Apes, Immaculate. Like there's freaking Late Night with the Devil. Like there's a few that I really enjoyed from this year.
Yeah.
Book of
There's some
Clarence,
deep
that's
cuts.
another one. Yep.
Great movie. That's my number 2 of the year. This Book of Clarence, or number 3, I think. Yeah, number 3. Collector Movie Man says there are only 2 movies. I'm looking forward to in August: Trap and Horizon American Saga Chapter 2. I definitely, and the Trap really does look really good. Nanette says I want to see Crow and Alien Romulus. Nanette, Blood Rose Horror. Like I said before in one of the chats, your name scares me. So you like horror, so I can definitely see why you want to go see Alien Romulus. I don't think Crow's too much of a horror, but it does have some horror elements to it.
Horror elements to it, yeah. Darker
Yeah,
tones and stuff like that.
yeah, not as dark as the '90s Crow, but it definitely has a modern spin. Dell on movies. What's up, Dell on movies? I have a
Dell.
cousin named Dell, And the first time I went to your channel, I was like, this dude looks like my cousin. You don't sound like my cousin, but like y'all have a very similar look. And his name is Del too. I think I always thought that was funny. And I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. And I love your movie swap content. That's like I really enjoy those videos, and it's always a really good time because you always pick two distinctly different movies. I really like that concept. Nanette also says, I didn't notice Trap. Definitely want to see that as well. That really does look great. Hello, Dell on movies. Hey, Nanette. Adele says it's funny the alien scared because that one is the action flick. OG Aliens the slasher flick. I love both. So I was like 7 when I was like I'm talking about like I was a kid like that scared the crap out of me as a kid watching that movie. I should not like in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
people like they didn't the first movie I saw in the theater was 48 hours. I think I was like 6 or 7 watching. I should
It's
not
a
have
good
been in the
movie.
theater watching
That's also accurate.
48 hours at that
Yeah.
age. My
Mhm.
dad took me to watch that movie. So like in the
Mm-hmm.
80s, it was different. Like, so we
Yeah.
watched this. I think the second movie I watched in the theater was Nightmare on Elm Street 2. After we
Oh
saw
wow.
Nightmare on Elm Street 1 on HBO. It was like, oh, we gotta go
Okay.
see part 2. I was also like 9, like that was what, 85? So I was what? No, I was 7 at that time. So I was even younger watching 48 Hours. Like my dad took me to the movie. I probably like I don't remember the movie as a kid, but like I was there. I should not have
Yeah.
been there. Like that
Yeah.
movie had
You.
a
You.
scene where they were like at a strip club or something like that. like,
You being
like
scared of aliens at 7 reminds me of when I literally cried me and my dad out of the theater when he took me to see Starship Troopers. I was done. Like I was 7 when that movie came out, and like the first scene, an alien stabs somebody in the neck and rips somebody apart. Like the first scene, I was like, I cannot handle
yeah.
this at all. And then like a year later, I watched it on like VHS and I loved it. It was very weird, but like that movie, it was over for me. Like in the first 15 minutes of that movie,
For
he had to
sure.
take me home. It was crazy.
Oh, as he should have, because you at that age should not have been watching Starship Troopers. Great movie
Yeah,
though.
yeah, great movie.
Uh, Dark movies. Thank you so much for joining us, Toby. It said,
Dark.
"Wow, finally somebody excited for the Crow." I'm not as excited, but I'm still gonna watch it. Like
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm excited for the different take. And Bill Skarsgård is just he's on a different realm now. I don't think he gets enough credit for how great he is in the stuff that he does. Nanette says, I like the Alien franchise, don't like the Predator movies. The only exception to the rules is the first one. I would disagree with that. You got to watch Prey. If you didn't like
Prey is
Prey,
Prey was really
great.
good. Prey was
I
amazing.
like Prey on Hulu is phenomenal. That was such that movie had no right being as good as it was.
Prey. I was literally like watching it. Like, why am I not watching this in the theater? Like, this
Yeah,
is
same.
Yes,
fantastic.
Yeah.
yes, yes. So Prey is a Predator movie. And that movie is phenomenal. Definitely check that out on Hulu.
Yeah.
Uh,
That movie was good because it got back to the essence of Predator. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like, stop. You don't need to be super plot based. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Just give us, what you did, which was amazing.
Yep.
And the girl's name, Thunder something. I forget her name, but she was in
Yeah.
Avatar. She was in
Hmm.
the Avatar series. She was amazing in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, Prey was one of those experiences I absolutely love with movies. I had not heard about that movie until like the day or like 2 days before it came out, and then it
Hmm.
came out. I was like, "Oh, this is great!" So yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the like A24 had that effect with me for a long time before I started paying attention to them. Whereas they would just put out a movie, and I was like, "I have never heard of this, and never seen a trailer. Let me go see it," and it was fantastic. So
Yeah.
yeah, Prey
And
was the same way.
fans can have that, because I remember on social media everybody was talking about it. Everybody's like, "Yo, Prey is really good." So it's like, let me give it a shot. And I'm like, "Wow, this is really good."
Yeah.
it really was. And Dark, the reason why you get so much hate for you wanting to see The Crow is because they're old curmudgeons like myself,
Yeah.
who live in the past. And I get it. I have to get over it too. But like they don't want their stuff remade. one of the biggest reviewed movies that I had like last year, or it might have been year before last, was White Man Can't Jump. There are people who hate that movie to death. And there were people who in my comments were like, I can't believe you like that. And I mentioned something about Last Dragon in my comments, which drove people insane. I was like, oh, what if you remade The Last Dragon? And that was the most commented video I ever had up until like a few videos ago. Like where everybody came at my neck for my Last Dragon take because they don't want to see their classics remade. The Crow people hold Kelly Corbett's in the chat. She holds The Crow very near and dear to her heart, and that's why you're getting a lot of hate for wanting to see The Crow. Is because we don't want to see properties, or some people don't want to see property. I don't mind it because, like, there are ways you can do things better than what they were in the 80s and 90s because those
course.
movies a lot of times don't hold up. They just
Mhm.
hold up in our minds and our hearts because we watched them when we were, our formative years. So yeah, you're gonna get a lot of hate from that. Once people put out reviews, there are gonna be a lot of people who go in your comments and hate
Yep.
you for liking the movie because they loved Brandon Lee and his original take. So that kind of comes with the territory when it comes to remakes, at least.
As far as
Absolutely.
remakes, man, there's one that I saw and I've been stuck on this. I would love a remake of Back to the Future with Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland, bro. That since I saw that meme, I was like, I'm for that, dude. Like
That's a
their
good call.
chemistry would be amazing. They wouldn't. I don't think they would dare to remake Back to the Future. But if you did it from this standpoint of 2024, and then just moved it on to like maybe like 2050 or whatever, maybe this time they can get it right because we passed the Back to the Future, and we don't have nearly as much of the stuff as
None of
they
it.
promised us.
I don't
So
have
maybe
my
they'll get it right next
hoverboard.
time. Yeah, maybe they'll get
I
it
don't
right
have my
next time.
hoverboard.
Yeah.
But I'm all for that. Robert Downey Jr. as Doc and Tom Holland as a 2024 Marty McFly.
Ace, you just got this live stream canceled. You just said like Back to the Future is like
Hey.
one of the most beloved movies, and that everybody just they just turned their computer off.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
It's a hot take.
I'm with that. And that is probably the hottest take of this life. But it's a great idea. Like I'm not against the remakes. People say there's no original ideas. No idea is original at this point. Like everything is kind of a riff on either a fairy tale or some myth that you were told, or tall tales as they used to call them. So yeah, like I'm all for it. If it's done right, I'll watch almost anything.
Yeah.
Dell said he's cautiously optimistic about The Crow. I think everybody is. Kelly Corbett said, love Bill Skarsgård and love The Crow, original graphic novel and the movie. Scared this reboot will disappoint, but still gonna see it the opening weekend. Of course you are. And we'll definitely talk about it after you've seen it and after I've seen it.
Yeah, I still
And
need
then
to see The
that's
Crow.
it's definitely worth a watch. I think it doesn't. It's such a 90s movie. Like there's certain things that just were made in a specific time and it works so well for that specific time. I think watching it now through a different lens, like young kids might not get it, but
Mhm.
it was a cultural phenomenon in the 90s. And of course it didn't it didn't hurt the movie that Brandon Lee his untimely death. That kind of elevated the movie to cult like status just in that like just on that fact alone.
Mhm.
But it's such a 90s movie, like 90s grunge. Like it felt like Seattle. It felt like Nevermind, the album, was played out on on a film. Like these disgruntled grunge rockers from Seattle. At least that to me. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like it was such a sign of the times.
Mm.
Like as the grunge music was becoming really popular in in American culture, like that movie came along at the right time. The soundtrack, like everything about it was like grunge, and nobody like people my age still like grunge, but like a lot of people don't even know what that is now.
Mhm.
Like for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out. I think I'm going to wait until after I see the remake to watch it.
Yeah.
That's a good idea then to
Yeah.
compare and contrast the two movies. Let's see. Nanette said, "Well, you wanted from me, Dark. I'm looking forward to seeing The Crow." Dark said Blink Twice looks decent.
Hmm. I watched the
See,
trailer while we were talking. It looks really good. Looks like it has
it, it it
potential.
it is it's a unique premise. So I'm a concept guy and a premise guy. So if you have a good premise, as long as you don't jack it up, which a lot of movies do, I
Hmm.
don't think like not for nothing. Channing Tatum doesn't do a lot of bad movies. People, like, I've never watched any Magic Mike movies. Luckily, my wife has never wanted me to watch any Magic Mike movies, but like, he's never done any bad movies that I've seen. In all honesty, even Step Up, I enjoy Step Up. Let's see. I don't know if you're going into September, but the only movie I look forward to in September is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. We did talk about that collective movie, man. Zach Mills said we got me sold on Blink Twice now. I definitely hope you guys watch the trailer after you're done here, or you could do it while you're listening to
Oh, I'm
us.
definitely gonna check it out.
Dell Movie said haven't heard of Blink Twice. Same here, Dell. Dell on movies for me. Ronald Reagan means the start of the crack era. That's all I equate with the crack era is Ronald Reagan. In all honesty,
Hmm.
like that's what I equate with the, you know, Harlem becoming what Harlem was that I was growing up in was the Reagan administration. Nanette says I'm a white woman and I think Ronald Reagan is one of the worst presidents ever. Uh, see, well, Trump is getting a biopic, so yes, I did hear that. He's getting like there's a movie called I think it's called The Apprentice that's coming out, and it's about Donald Trump's younger years. So I don't know if it's like about his presidency, but I did see a preview. Sebastian Stan is playing Donald Trump. That's a stretch. like, uh, like I don't like. I guess but yeah, he is getting I guess somewhat of a biopic. Yes, every president I feel like might get a biopic someday, except for John Adams. That was the second president, right? I don't think biopic.
Mike is messing up.
Care about, they only care about the first. Am I back? Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Am I
Yeah,
still
I hear
breaking?
you.
Okay. All right. Screens in says I'm looking forward to seeing The Crow. Never saw the original. There's a lot of people like that. I always forget the age disparity between people I talk to that you just didn't grow up with The Crow. Let's see the Ace Avenue. I agree, she's hot right now. If you get me, Dark. That's funny, Toby. And I'm really so forward to looking at seeing Beetlejuice. He's talking about Jenna Ortega. I don't know if you guys seen Miller Girl. After seeing Miller's Girl, I can't look at Jenna Ortega the same way. That movie was disturbing, and like the male gaze in that movie, she's playing a teenage girl. Even though I know Jenna Ortega's in her 20s, like I see her still as like the young girl, and Miller's Girl was just disturbing to me. Especially as a
Yes.
father of a daughter, like I did not enjoy what was done in that movie. So I can never see Jenna Ortega as the hot girl ever
Yeah,
again.
I haven't seen it, but stuff like that definitely gets weird.
Definitely.
Yes. Screens in. OMG, you need to see the original Crow. He is correct. Please see that everybody's telling Screens in to
Hmm.
watch the original Crow. Yes, a few people let me know must watch. Everybody in the stream has now turned on you, Screens in, and they've all turned on you and said you got to watch uh, the original Crow. Beetlejuice is coming out on the weekend of my birthday. I'm so excited for it.
Nice.
The net that is definitely that's coming out. That is coming out at the beginning of September. That's right before my
The
daughter's
6th.
birthday, right before my anniversary. So I don't. I'll see that the week before that, but nothing. I'll probably see nothing the week of my anniversary and my daughter's birthday. Uh, and happy early birthday, Nanette. Jay Palon. I don't know if I'm saying it right. What's good, people? What's good, people? I don't. You know what? I always joke at people as they're reading the comments when they make mistakes. And here I am, like I sit at my computer and I'm like, oh man, this
It
guy can't
happens.
what this guy can't read. And it's like here I am doing the same
Yeah.
thing because when you're live, you're live.
Yeah. Especially
Yep.
no.
I be
Mainly
judging
you mess
people.
up with people's names. When you mess up people's names, because people be having some weird YouTube names. So it's like, what'd you say?
Yep. That's why I changed my YouTube name to my actual name. My
Hmm.
my YouTube name was See for Yourself,
Hmm.
And in the live stream, people every time they said like one of my comments, they would say the full thing, like "see for yourself" said, and "see for yourself" said. I'm like, no one should have to say that full mouthful of anything.
Yeah.
Also, it was impossible to search, so I just changed it to my actual name.
Yeah.
for sure.
And then on top of that, people can't spell. People's grammars are terrible.
Yeah,
Like when you're
and
reading comments, you be reading it like, and then it gets to the point where it's like, am I reading this wrong? I'm like, no, you just
right,
typed it wrong. Like,
and
All
yeah, and
fact.
like "see for yourself" was spelled YA, so
hmm
no one was finding me because no one's typing that in,
Yeah.
and actually going to find me.
yeah, yeah, I had that same problem because mine is the Ace Avenue,
Hmm.
DAACE. Everybody like YouTube at first was like, do you mean Dance Avenue? I'm like, no, no, it's
For sure. For sure. But definitely, I appreciate you being here, Jay Palone. You left a comment yesterday when I set up the stream on the wrong platform. So I definitely appreciate you for stopping in. Salute to me. Have you seen that with T? Salute to the Ace. Delon movies, a sequel to a movie 30 years old worries me. After Top Gun Maverick, no sequel worries me. Like if done well, you can bring like I had so low expectations of Top Gun Maverick, and that movie was phenomenal. Not saying it was perfect, but it was a perfect action Tom Cruisey type movie. And it was a lot better than I thought it had every right to be. So yeah, it definitely is cause for concern, but I think we've moved so far forward in storytelling that you can get away with a sequel of a movie 30 years old,
Yeah,
in my
it's
opinion.
hit or miss. It's hit or miss.
Mm, for sure.
Because I agree, Top Gun Maverick is excellent. Top Gun is actually hot take, not a good movie, but Top Gun Maverick is fantastic.
don't say that too much. You got the
You
old
got
heads
you,
that'll be like, ooh, they're ride or die by that movie. But I agree, it's
Yeah,
it's not that great.
it doesn't age well.
No, no, it does
no,
not
not at
age
all.
well. It
I
does not
watched it the
age
day
well.
before. I rewatched it the day before I saw Maverick. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this is a
I have a
film that has
need
been
for
made.
speed. Like,
Yeah,
Come on, man.
the
I mean,
dogfighting was great. The rest of the
all
movie
right.
was just nah.
So, as the overly emotional movie reviewer, come on, when Goose died, y'all didn't feel
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Like nobody,
I had
nobody,
to
I
feel
nobody
this.
didn't.
felt nothing
No,
when
I
Goose
didn't.
died. Come on.
I
Oh
did.
man, you guys
I
have no
was
soul.
The last
because
time that I legit cried in a movie was probably I Am Legend when the dog died. That
that was the
got me.
last time you cried in a movie.
In a movie theater, yeah. Actually, you know what? Guardians of the Galaxy 3 got me. I forgot about
Okay,
that one.
I was
Guardians of the
about to say
Galaxy 3 got me. Dude, that movie was heart wrenching, bro.
yeah, it
If
was.
Yes,
you didn't cry during
yes.
that movie, you ain't got a heart.
I definitely did, and I'm not an animal person, but like, yeah, the Rocket Raccoon scenes were just hit on a different emotional level.
Hmm
But yeah,
Yep.
I definitely agree with that. But yeah, man, when Goose died, that was done. I mean, I didn't cry, but at the same time, I felt it. Like it's Goose, man. Anthony Edwards, underrated actor. Revenge of the Nerds, one of my favorite '80s movies.
Yeah.
Jay Pollan says thumbs up. Everybody's saying hey to each other. Hey Jay, hey Nanette. Screens End. Oh yeah, I'll be more of those few people because Wow Wow is the original Crow, an amazing movie. It is. It is. It is. Let that man live. He must be talking about screens. Hey man, screens. I really enjoy screens and content.
Yeah, Screens is
And no
great.
knock against him because he hasn't seen The Crow. There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen. Like I've never seen The Godfather one, right? And if you're a movie fan and you've never seen The Godfather, I've surprisingly seen The Godfather two, but I've never seen The Godfather
I saw The
one.
Godfather 1 and 2 for the first time in 2020 when we were locked in for the pandemic.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Also,
Monica
hot take.
Bellucci was.
The first one is way better than the second one.
Mm, that is not what I heard. I've heard everybody says Godfather 2 is like the quintessential Godfather movie, but I've never seen the
I
first one, so I don't know.
yeah.
Do you guys not like those old school Italian mob, family type movies? You guys don't like those?
No, I love them.
Mm,
I like both Godfather movies are. The second one is good. The first one is great,
Yeah.
and I think that the second one it's splitting its story between two different time periods. I thought that it didn't execute that as well to me, and wasn't nearly as interesting as the first one, just being one solid through line. Also, like Robert De Niro was great in the movie. I just didn't believe that that man turned into that man in the first one, like at all. So yeah,
Yeah, Bronx Tale is one of my favorite movies. If we want to talk about those movies in those eras, like Bronx Tale is one of my favorites. If you guys haven't seen that, that's highly recommended.
I do need to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen that, and I was born in the Bronx. So, but
Bronx
yeah,
card
I'm
revoked.
yeah, right. I'm not a big gangster movie. I'm not a big mob movie fan. Of course, I've seen Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas,
love
Casino.
Goodfellas.
But like, I just
Casino's
like
great.
those kind of where I draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, but I've heard great, like everybody who I know who've seen the Bronx Tale says the exact same thing. But I feel like I've just missed it. Like that was a
Yeah.
time. Like I
Mm-hmm.
felt like that came out at a time, and it was like a movie for that time that
Yeah.
I just have
I'm
never
also a
gone
fan
back
of
and watched.
Carlito's Way. Carlito's Way was great.
Great
Good
movie.
The one
Terrible
that's
sequel.
I heard the sequel with Diddy,
Yeah,
um,
terrible sequel.
Diddy Dirty Money, was terrible. But yeah, Carlito's. I actually like The Irishman quite a bit. It's long, very
Never
long, but I
watched.
actually like
Too
The
long.
Irishman. Yeah, it was like 3:45. I was like, dog, what are we doing here?
That's okay. The Departed. That's not really. I don't consider that to be a mob style, but it is a mob style. Great movie. I
Yeah.
love Departed. That's in my top 10.
Mhm.
Monica Bellucci was also in Kill Bill Volume 1. I don't remember that. Tim Burton looks like Tiny Tim. I completely agree with that. My kids want to see the Purple Crayon movie. I don't think my kids have seen the preview for that. And I don't think I want them to see the preview. I don't want to go see that. Like, in all honesty,
Yo, so I don't know if you have kids, Ace.
I don't.
But okay, neither do I. So let me ask you: do you hide previews from your kids for movies you don't want to see?
no, not really. Like, cause they're gonna find it. Like
Okay.
Oh yeah.
they jump on YouTube. Apparently, like I was doing Zach Mills, one of the lives, and my son saw me on YouTube, and now like was like, oh my god, you're on YouTube, and he's 5, and he just thought that was the biggest thing in the world that I
So you're
was
a
on.
star.
Yes,
You're a star. That's what's up.
I'm a star.
That's what's
But
up.
yeah, like that definitely happened. And if he sees this, he's gonna like he would if he would hear because they went to a kid's birthday party with
Hmm.
their mom. If he were here and he saw this, he'd be trying to get on the camera right now so he could be on YouTube too.
Gotcha.
That's like they think that YouTube is end all be all. That kind of scares me as a parent, but it is what it is.
Hmm.
If the kids ever be like, yeah, I want to go see Harold and the Purple Crayon, I'm like, oh, the movie theater's closed today. Sorry, we can't go.
So
It just
that's the good thing is I do tell like they know about movies. Like Garfield is out right now, and when I went to go see Furiosa, they thought that I was taking them to see Garfield. I was like, no, we'll just like they get it when I say we're gonna go at a different time.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't want them. I don't think like honestly, I don't even think that they don't enjoy live action stuff as much as animation.
yeah.
Like other than the original Garfield movies, my daughters loved those movies and they were terrible. Uh, I love that this turned into a roast of Tim Burton. Come on, man. Like he's a genius, but he looks crazy. like he's a genius. He looks like Albert Einstein level genius. Like just looks crazy. Uh, Tim Burton needs to look like crack. That's part of his charm. Yeah, yeah. Like Helena Bonham Carter, his former muse, she always looked like she was just in a totally different stratosphere. Like she looked like a perfect person for his movies.
If Helena Bottom Carter is who I think she is, which I'll Google it right now, she I've always had like she's gorgeous.
Okay. She just always looks weird to me because she always gets made up in his movies to look extremely weird.
I think the weirdness
Tim,
is what attracts me to her. Oh yeah,
That yeah, yeah, yeah,
that is the person. Yeah,
yeah,
that is the person
yeah,
I thought she was.
yeah, for sure.
Hold on,
that
I
that
think I know who you're talking about. Beatrice
Yep.
from yeah. Oh yeah, she's weirdly hot. Like,
Yeah,
not to
that's a
get into
great way
that,
to say it.
but we could do
Yeah.
some weird freaky stuff. Like, I'm okay with that.
not to get into that. Let's move two M Night movies this year. I gotta see Trap. So yeah, no, he has one movie and his daughter has a movie coming out, or maybe he does have two movies. I don't know. But Trap does definitely look interesting. Beetlejuice. Zach Mill says Beetlejuice looks like it will have that good old school feel, and I'm digging it.
I agree.
Yes, the second preview looks fantastic. Like the second preview definitely does look like it is a lot of that old school Beetlejuice, and that is a good thing. Jay Pollen says that's good at Collect the Movie Man. I loved Book of Clarence, Dell on movies. I really love Book of Clarence. I don't think it's like I think we're gonna look back on that movie, especially as a black man in the black culture. We're gonna look back on that movie years later and be upset that we didn't support it more because of the connotation of the
Mhm.
blasphemous connotation that people put on a movie without seeing the movie. And
Yeah.
I think that we did it a disservice by not supporting it, especially James Samuel, not Kevin Samuel, Kenny, not Kevin
Yeah.
Samuel, is James
Not Kevin
Samuel.
Samuel. Yeah.
Yeah, not Kevin Samuel, but he is a fantastic young filmmaker. He needs every opportunity to be as original as he is. Let's see. Jay said he just got back from the cinema, watched the Blue Angels doc. They're finally doing an air show back here in October that I'm excited to take the kids. They stopped doing them during the pandemic, where the Blue Angels come and fly over the base out here, and I'm so excited to take the kids to go see that. So I'm glad you enjoyed the. I hope you enjoyed the Blue Angels doc. They're phenomenal. Anytime you get a chance to see them, I've got a chance to see them quite a bit uh, during my time because they do a lot of different things, especially at the Amigo Air Show out here in Texas. Nanette said, I'm giving it to 2024. I didn't really like any of the movies that came out. Wow. Any of the movies that came out in
Any of them.
2023.
Interesting.
There's only four, and I've already seen six movies that I like that came out this year. I get it. I get it. And I think
Oh.
now
Yeah.
I think now we've gone away from the big blockbusters, and now they've really gotten a lot better with storytelling and some of the small, like Barbarian. Barbarian shouldn't have been as big of a movie as it is because it was so original and so different. And it's not what a lot of moviegoers are used to, right? Then you get Indiana Jones, and it's not as great as all of them. I think just the way we consume content, now was so much content out there. To me, it's really hard. It's really hard. To
You're muted.
There's some good
Yeah.
ones.
You're muted.
Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
I think it's the internet. I think my internet's going in and out.
It's StreamYard. StreamYard does that from time to time.
Okay, let's see. We got a few more comments, and then we're gonna go through a few more comments. Then we're gonna wrap up the stream
I
because I
actually
think
have
I've
this book
held you.
now because I got to get ready
Okay.
for this Bad Boys 2 stream.
Okay. Well, before you go, you want to go ahead and just give a shout out to your channel, and let me
Mm-hmm.
just go ahead and put you up here.
Hey,
Let
it's
everybody
me.
know where they can find you, and we'll.
Cool beans. So my name is Kenny Sparks. I run the Kenny Sparks YouTube channel. I do I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, watch-alongs. Apparently, this will be my second one of all time. That's starting at 6 o'clock. Stay for the rest of T's stream, and then if you feel so inclined, hop over to my stream for Bad Boys 2 watch along, which I'll have a clock running so you guys know where to catch up with me at. Yeah, had a great time on the stream. T, you did an amazing job. Stop being self-deprecating. You're killing it. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
All right, man. Good to meet you, Kenny.
Likewise, man. Talk to y'all.
And now I'm stuck trying to figure out how to get back.
You get these. You
Uh,
get these sometimes.
There
It's
we
technical
go.
difficulties.
There we
Yeah.
go. I just had to figure it out. And yes, I will try to stop being so self-deprecating, but that's one of my charms, right?
Oh yeah, man, your channel's
Uh,
amazing, man. I actually have to head out of here as well.
okay.
I got to get myself some food and a nap before I do my Yankee stream tonight. We have the late night game. So appreciate you for having me on, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like when you
Oh,
reached out, I was ecstatic about coming on. I'm a full supporter of your channel. You're a great dude with very insightful knowledge on movies. Love your perspective on, what I'm saying, these things. And I want you to do, as well as you possibly can. And I'm right there with Kenny. Stop, stop, downing yourself, man. Your channel is on the rise and you fully have my support. And anything that you need me to do, just let me know.
all right. And go ahead and let everybody know once again where they can find you. Definitely give your channel a shout out.
You can find me at the Ace Avenue, DAACE Avenue. Yours truly, New York Giants content, New York Yankees content, like I'll be doing tonight. Also, I do movie reviews, reactions, and rankings to all of my favorite movies and more. Appreciate all of you guys. We are on the road to 1,500.
For sure. And once again, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna get through a few of these comments
Cool.
before I go, but yeah, definitely thank you so much for dropping in. And thank you everybody else for being here. So I'm gonna go through these comments because I don't want anybody to feel like I don't appreciate you being here, and I don't appreciate your comment if there's anybody still here. But let's see, where do we end off? I think everybody started talking about Back to the Future hate. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Blue Docs documentary. You must have a handsome cousin. I'm telling you, you guys look so similar. It's really eerie, and it's not until you talk to where I realized that y'all are not the same person. Because the first time I went on your channel, I was like, "Yo, you never told me you had a channel, cuz what's up?" But yeah, you guys definitely, you guys definitely look a lot alike. But just once you talk, y'all just sound a lot different. He sounds like a true Harlem New Yorker. Like he has that hard haw when he speaks, like New York, like he true New Yorker. I was looking at 2025. It looks like it's going to be a good year. Mickey 17, Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 2, Untitled, Karate Kid movie, Ballerina. 2025, like Marvel is going to be a huge year for Marvel. That's when we're going to get multiple Marvel content, and yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be a good time in 2025. Um, but yeah, I want to get through 2024. I want Wolverine and Deadpool. I think that's going to shape a lot of what 2025 is going to look like. Collectible Jurassic World 4, Superman, The Naked Gun. I'm so surprised they're making another Naked Gun movie, and the Fantastic Four. Yes, there are a lot of new movies coming out. Uh, the net said I didn't like Prey. I've seen it. You just didn't like it. Hey, I definitely understand that. It is not for everybody. But I definitely enjoy Prey. Too many movies that are coming out, and the net also says too many movies coming out nowadays. The people in them, all they do is argue with each other, and I don't like those kind of movies. That was your biggest complaint with Prey. Okay, I definitely understand that. I definitely understand that. There's always that internal conflict that just kind of overstays its welcome when you just want to see the predator kill people. I completely understand that. I need. I already saw that one. Hell no, Back to the Future. I knew that was going to get some hate comments, but hey, I'm all for it. What Back to the Future to be paired? Tom and RDJ is good casting. Yes, that would be good casting, but that is so beloved. That would get so much hate just at the thought of redoing that movie. Let's see, and we don't have flying cars yet. I don't think we're ever like. I think 100 years from now, 200 years from now, we might have flying cars. I don't like, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Robert Zemeckis has said that Back to the Future will never be remade if he has anything to do with it. I completely like. I understand. I'm assuming he owns the property because if a studio owns the property, you know they're gonna try to make some money. Dark movies. I'm sitting here with a giant fan on max because of that giant hot take. That was a really hot take. But yeah, definitely. And that says thank you, T. I don't remember what that was for, but you're welcome. See, grammar's a big thing that need to be changed. Man, you know what? Y'all young folks and the way y'all spell things, I will never understand it. Let's see. Dark movies. The Apprentice actually got really decent reviews or pretty decent reviews. Currently at 76 of Rotten Tomatoes with 35 reviews. Interesting. That is interesting. I mean, I heard it was about his younger years. So, and Sebastian Stan, not for nothing, he's an excellent actor. Like Sebastian Stan doesn't get enough credit. Everybody thinks of him as Bucky Barnes, but he's phenomenal. Fresh was one of my favorite. I think that came out 2 years ago. That was a fantastic movie. He was great in that. So I don't think it's going to be a bad movie. I just don't really care for the person the movie's about. Uh, Kenny, I'm an old head and OG Top Gun is not that. Yeah. Like looking back on it, I remember watching it again before I watched Maverick. I watched it with my wife, and it was amazing to me how bare bones that movie was. It was like all of the scenes got strung together. And at the end of it, I was like, "This is it," because it just felt like this very basic, flat movie that just happened. It was I wasn't excited. I would like it just it doesn't hold up. But back in 86, I guess you can tell me nothing. That was fantastic as a kid watching airplanes shoot each other out of the sky. And the net says, speaking of movies that don't come out for like 30 years after the original, why does everybody hate Hocus Pocus 2? I've never seen Hocus Pocus 2. My daughter wanted to see it. She got scared with the thought of witches. But at some point, I'm going to watch it. But the first time I watch it, I want to watch it with her so she can get over her fear. I disagree with you on that, Dell. I'm assuming she's talking about Top Gun. Uh, while part of it, Maverick might be as good as you say. I haven't watched it, but I think Top Gun is good. Completely understandable. Like Top Gun is part of people's upbringing, right? If you're my age or around my age, like that was part of your childhood. That was part of your formative years. And yeah, yeah, like it just it to me, it doesn't hold up in today's climate of movies, but at the same time, it's still a good time because it's a good like nostalgic, reminiscent of where you were when you watched the original movie. And I'm just kind of speeding through the comments because I'm assuming that everybody's gone because all of my co-hosts are left. But I do once again want to read through the comments. If you're watching this back on replay, know that I got to your comment. And Dark said he's never seen any Godfather movie. I completely understand. It's not for they're not for everybody. And Dell says that no, I'm on a pretty small island for my dislike of Top Gun. No, it's not just you. Uh, Also, have not seen Goodfellas. That's a great movie. Godfather, both the first two Godfather movies are great movies. Godfather 3, not so much. It's all good. You can dislike it, and anything else you didn't like. You're right. Everybody has their opinion, and I appreciate you for being that adult to understand everybody has their own opinion because some people are not that hardcore of an adult and they will argue with you to the death and tell you that their movie is great, even though you might not like it. Dell says, I love mafia gangster movies. A Bronx Tale is awesome. I really need to watch it. I really need to watch that movie. I've seen Godfather, all three of them, and Heat. They're the only mob movies I've seen. I've seen Married to the Mob. That's a comedy with Matthew Modine. But yeah, I honestly don't remember anything about Godfather 3 other than it not just being good. I think I was just like, it was just on and I was there and I definitely didn't watch that in the theater. Heat, that was another movie. I love the ending of Heat, but everything before that, I just wasn't the biggest fan of. I was there for the action and it gave me a lot of that towards the end. And I heard they're making a sequel to Heat, which I don't agree with, but I don't make people money. And Kill Bill, Monica Bellucci is the woman who had her arms cut off and was thrown in the trunk by the bride. I have to watch Kill Bill Volume 1 again. I have not seen that movie in forever. Uh, I didn't realize that Monica played that part in Kill Bill Volume 1. Neither did I. Zach Mills says, great stream, my friends. Have a great weekend. And I said it's at the beginning of the stream. I hope everyone has a wonderful and very safe Memorial Day weekend. Take some time to have a moment of silence for those soldiers who have fought and died for this country, whether whatever branch they're in. Their sacrifice means a lot to my freedom. Means a lot to everyone in America's freedom. I know we have a few viewers who are from different countries. Dark's from Norway, Zach's from Canada. But Memorial Day is a big holiday here in the States. So definitely, if you're here in the States, take a little bit of time to reflect. Definitely enjoy your barbecue, but definitely have a safe weekend. And thank you so much for watching the stream. Everyone is saying great stream. Have a great day, great stream. Have a good night. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here, Nanette. I respect, but I don't know what that's about, but not pray. Get it? Oh, he's talking about Nanette. Oh, you thank me for saying happy early birthday. Uh happy early birthday. Definitely, I mean, we're a small community, but I appreciate you for being part of the community, and I always appreciate you in the comments. You always bring your fresh energy into those comments. See, now we're here for your live stream too. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Annette, you'll be 41 in September. I'm not going to tell you how old I'm going to be in December, but it's older than 41. But once again, happy birthday. I don't like Halloween. Nanette says, I don't like Halloween ends. And a lot of people were saying that they were to go out and kill anyone that said that they did like it. And it made me so upset that I got on my YouTube channel and did a video saying you don't have the right to say you're going to hurt somebody over something stupid as not liking what you don't want, or somebody saying that they like something that you don't. You are 100% correct. That I love the movie tubers community, but some people get really upset when you don't agree with their opinion. And I totally agree with that statement. Just because I don't like something, that don't mean you don't have to like it. If you love something that I don't like, that's totally up to you because everybody has different experiences. And I think that is the last comment. And we are just over 3 hours. I'm surprised I still have a voice. I need to drink a little bit of water while I say goodbye to everyone. But yeah, I really, Nanette, you've hung in here this entire stream. And you said, I don't think it's right to get upset to the point where you want to fight with somebody because they don't. Man, I need you to just blast that out to the entire American public because that's where we are as a society. Everybody seems to want to, because I disagree with you, that means that I'm a bad person politically, religiously. That is just, I feel like that's the society we live in now, especially with social media. Everybody has a voice, and everybody wants to be heard. And man, yeah, I don't agree with that. We can have difference of opinions. There's a lot of people that I've served with that I have different opinion on, but I still have their back. And yes, you're right. 3 hours, great stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in, Dark. Have a good night. You'll try to be. So we're doing this again next week, next Saturday. It will not be 3 hours. I can't promise that, but I will try my hardest for it to not be 3 hours. And we're just going to talk about the movie year so far, the mid-year review, and I'm going to reach out to a few other YouTubers to see if they want to jump on the stream. But thank y'all so much for being here. It is your boy T, the overly emotional movie reviewer. And I'm going to end the stream now. And I really appreciate everyone for showing up. I appreciate the comments. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and everybody enjoys the movies that they get to check out this summer. And yeah, until next time, I will see y'all later. Bam. And now I have to do it with the other hand because I have to click in stream with my right hand. And I will see y'all next time. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. How do I stop this? I don't even know how to stop this. Oh, there, it's at the top. Man, I'm such a rookie at this. Oh, but before I go, in the net, type more things. Exactly, you know that on the head. T is so confusing living in a world where everybody wants to argue about what they think is right. I just want people to get along with each other. Well, you know what, Nanette? I get along with you and I appreciate you. And that is exactly what we need as people just to appreciate each other. And I really do. And it is definitely not too much to ask for. But hopefully my kids will get it right. That's where I'm at in life. Hopefully they'll get it right. But now I know how to end the stream, and I will see y'all next time.